All right, hello friends. Hi Redwire, how are you? Moon, how are you doing? Holy smokes, we got a we got a D&D. We do got a D&D now. We got a Lucy excited about D&D. Who else do we have here? I'm seeing Drapsnat. Don't know who the hell that is, but welcome on in. I see a Seru. Hello, Seru. And hello to the many, many bots who are hanging out in stream. Okay, so, hey, it's going good. I got my voice back a little better today. I've got 2 days worth of antibiotics in me. I got a day's worth of steroids in me. I've been hitting this inhaler pretty much all day. So yeah, my body is recovering from the horrific upper respiratory infection and sinus infection that I suffered this past week. So thank God, because today's D&D day. Okay, guys, this is session number 50. We are 2 weeks away from our 1 year anniversary of hands down the longest one shot in Dungeons and Dragons history ever. And I wanted to say thank you to all of those of you who are here to hang out and see us. Now, tonight's a very special night because we are finally on the day that Mr. Gray is supposed to perform his story, his tale of the unlikely heroes. Whether or not we'll get there, we'll have to see, because to be honest with you, we could literally sit and role play for 3 hours and 3 hours in game will have passed. But here's to hoping that we push forward to that excellent tale, because I personally, as a DM, want to be regaled about what the hell has already happened. So, without further ado, I'm going to jump back over to the folks here in stream, and we are going to dive right on into it with a quick recap, XP summary, questions, and then we are going to push go, baby. Hang out with us, and we are going to get to it. All right, guys.
How long have we been at this? 4 or 5 weeks now?
Several weeks.
All right, so recap from last week. So I believe that you guys had woken up after a long rest from the week prior. There was a little bit of roleplay that went on back and forth between the lot of you, or at least a few of you. You realized that as you were waking up, something was very seriously wrong with Aurora. As in, her entire body was under the covers and not awake like she normally would be 35 minutes before all of you, so just to ensure she wasn't going to get killed in her sleep. When Doc went and threw back the covers on her bed, she exposed what was an egg, a completely solidified and frozen egg, laying about the size of a halfling in the spot where Aurora had fallen asleep. Within a few Within a few moments, the egg began to shake and crack and split, and bursting forth from it was the new and quote-unquote, I guess we can say improved. That's a little rude because we've been improving this whole time, so never stop improving, Queen. Okay, anyways, so you guys saw that she had taken on a very draconic form. She had scales that creeped across her eyes, kind of like a bandit's mask, and a single white gem sat firmly in the center of her flesh on her forehead. She had scales running down one arm completely, and as she glanced around at the lot of you, and you began to discuss what the hell had happened, she explained that, in the night, there were these whispers and these thoughts that had come to her about this draconic form that was a potential for her to take on, and she accepted it. She embraced it, especially after the conversation she had the day prior in the Ore Master's Fortress with the medicine woman. So, as many great D&D adventuring parties do, you simply said, okay, well, this is you now, and went about your business. So, from there, you began to progress through your day. As you did so, Gray continued to rehearse his tale, as well as having a conversation with the tavern owner about where this was going to happen and potential for staging things ahead of time, yada yada yada. Some things were staged, including one of the large tooth that was up on stage for Gray to utilize during his performance, during his tale. And then, yeah, the rest of the day was spent just kind of trying to iron that out and figure that out. I don't think that we had a... Oh, no, actually, you know what? There was two more things of very important note. One, retook Joseph for a ride up the mountain and onto a ridgeback that overlooked a small valley with a small pool inside of it. Once up top, Ree asked Josa quite a few, actually, questions, really good questions, too, about the inner workings of Gray, as Josa is or was Gray's prior... I don't want to use the term slave here because it's not necessarily the case, but Josa was Gray was master to Josa, though it was a mutual thing. So that conversation was had. Josa came sprinting back down the mountain, fast as fuck, and
screaming into town.
Yeah, Ree definitely got a ride. After that, there was a conversation that happened with the ogre. That was Ree and Doc, who actually took Josa prior to the former scene that had happened, and they went and talked to the ogre after Gray sent him a message very nonchalantly. Just started talking in this poor 8 intelligence creature's head, which was followed up with screaming about demons in the head, and then lots of yelling, and then it went silent. So when they arrived, they had found that the ogre had panicked and began to run, and unfortunately ran headlong into one of the large boulders at the ravine and knocked himself out completely. After a brief conversation with him, you guys said, hey, we potentially have some work for you. We want this guy to come meet you, but it's going to be a minute, so just sit tight, go out, do hunting, do food stuff, do whatever you got to do, and then, we'll make sure that conversation happens when it can. You guys parted from him and went about your day. So, from there, you guys met back at the house of the Dwarf Lord Inn. You went about your business for the rest of the evening, went to sleep, woke up the next day, which is where we're going to actually be starting today. Yep. As we'll be picking up on day 23. Today is Monday, the 23rd of Mugem. Not only is the mall anticipated on being completed today by the runesmith, but the performance, Mr. Gray's performance, is slated to happen tonight. All right, sorry guys. Now that I'm talking, of course, my voice is starting to act up. So, with that being said, we are picking up today, day 23, Monday, the 23rd of Mugem, at about 10 a.m. Recap from last time as far as XP. We had another great RP session last time. Some really good things were discussed, identified, and uncovered. So everybody earned 850 experience points, bringing Gray to 25,521, Aurora to 24,509, and Ree and Doc to 27,359. All right, let's see. Do I have any other notes here? Nope, just Josa and Ree, XP on the mountain. Ogre, Doc, and Ree, RP XP. Leaves Tooth on stage for Gray from Aurora. It doesn't get much clearer than that. All right. Any questions before we jump into it? All right, perfect. So let me go ahead and set the scene here.
So, are we waking up Monday morning? I'm sorry, you're setting up scene.
Yeah, if the inn has this music, I don't think I'll be
All right.
needed.
So, whoa, that's a little on the loud side, ain't it? Jesus
Yeah, it's
Christ.
loud.
Sorry, you know what? I just realized I had turned my headset all the way down so I didn't hear you guys talking while I was talking to stream, and I never turned it back up. I thought it was like, man, it's awfully fucking quiet.
You muted us?
I didn't mute you, I just turned you way the fuck down.
Maybe this is why you thought we were ignoring you forever. Just saying.
All right, guys. I should turn that down just a little bit more. There we go. All right, so we find ourselves in the House of the Dwarf Lord Inn. You've woken up. You've had your meals, your breakfasts. You guys still have the inn for not tonight being the last night, but tomorrow night being your last night, meals included. So, yeah, about 10 a.m. you wake up, everything feels okay. It's Monday, it's, you know, a little case of the Mondays, no biggie. What would you guys like to do?
I know Ree wants to go get her hammer. Hammer time!
Oh, dude, do I really?
She'll sit up and she'll just yell, "Stop! Hammer time!" and run out the door.
What about breakfast?
Ree's gone.
Stop for my hammer!
So Ree bolts from the House of the Dwarf Lord and sprints straight towards Ronald's rune smithy, where she arrives. Give me one sec here.
I imagine like she didn't even bother like getting like really like dressed much. Like she's still like in like her night clothes, like her Jimbo Jambos. I don't know what those even look like.
Jimbo Jambos.
She doesn't sleep naked anymore, at least.
That's a good thing. That's a fair point. All right, give me one sec here. I'm actually missing something.
Or boys.
Yeah, I only bought the books because it said boys. I didn't buy anything else to actually make the miniatures, so they're just in the box.
That is how many tabletop wargame addictions start and end. Is I just got this shit in a box.
I have so many unpainted miniatures just all over the place right now. And now that I have my own printer, it's even worse.
Oh, I can literally only imagine. All right.
I read a story where, a short story where someone says that someone's buying dice at a store, and the owner says, "Is that all?" He's like, "Yeah, all the dice I need. One more time." The owner will sigh and say, "See you soon." What?
100% me. I have many dice.
I've done the thing where now I like the high end dice now for two reasons. One, because they look awesome, and two, they're expensive. So I don't need. That's kind of where I don't buy anymore. It's like if they're expensive, then I won't buy them. So I only buy expensive ones. And then we're good.
Joke's on you, bud.
Yeah, I know. Didn't work quite as well as I thought, but it did kind of work.
All right.
That would just end with too many expensive dice sets, and they would be the dice versus food equation, but the dice last longer, so you know.
I have spent a little over like $900 in dice this year. Now, mind you, I run a business that sells dice, which is why I have spent that much on dice. But I still stand by the fact that at some point in time, somebody's gonna be like, "Yo, this guy's buying a lot of fucking dice. What's going on?"
Job expense, man. It's fine.
Yeah, it is. It is great. Okay, so you reach Ronald's rune smithy, and the sign that was flipped the last time is now flipped to the green side, indicating that it is open.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We will like kick open the door.
So as you kick open the door, standing there, where the main marble forge, for lack of a better term, was that the tooth had been on, now lying around it are heaps and heaps of scrap ore and splinters of wood. You see like this really thick, heavy leather binding, and all sorts of bone fragments. Laying on the table and standing on the opposite side, you see, first of all, this massive maul. Give me one sec here.
Holy shit.
This massive to the mall. Now, there is a little bit of a difference here. This is the only, like, stock tooth mall photo I could find. It does look a little bit different than this. The main thing, though, is that slapped on the top of it, on the actual head of it, is the Rune of the Goblin. Which is pulsing with green energy. As you enter, you swear when you kicked the door in, it was dormant, and as soon as your green flesh bore witness to its very existence, it sprung to life. The whole thing almost humming in anticipation. It is literally bigger than you are, and there is a moment of fear, like, oh fuck, this thing is gonna slow me down, but that rune, it just pumps confidence into you, like, you're strong as fuck, boy, you got this.
Holy shit. Ronald, are you in here? Ronald?
Ronald is actually standing on the opposite side. He was the other one on the opposite side. So the mall is up on the platform, and he looks around the head of the mall and he says, honestly, I wouldn't have expected you to see me. This thing is huge.
You are not fucking around with this thing, man.
I told you I was excited. I literally put a week's worth of work off. And he points, and over by this large wooden cabinet to the right of you, I mean, are just piles and piles of scrolls and sketched runes that are like partially done, and then piles of weapons and armor. I could have had all that done, but this was a chance of a lifetime. I had to take it.
Can I touch it?
It's not mine anymore. It's yours.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah, she'll like reverently like pick it up and like heft it in her hands a little bit, like, whoa.
So as you do so, there is an audible in your head vibration as the vibration rockets up your fingers to your elbow, to your shoulder, to your chest cavity, and all at once your body, your soul, your very existence immediately binds to it, meaning that you immediately attune to it.
Oh, I feel it in my jingles.
Now, much different from other weapons that have been picked up like this so far, you do feel like you can absolutely put it down.
Nice.
I mean, you might not want to, but
Yeah,
you feel like if you need to, you could. Unlike some other folks.
What do I call it?
So he kind of smiles and he says, that is not my decision. I am the crafter, but you are the wielder. You must spend the rest of your existence with this thing. I just had a glimpse of time with it.
My Garl, man, you're a fucking artist. This is amazing.
All right, so Kevin, I have added this weapon to your inventory. This was a custom item that I've had built up for a while. So all of the details are in it. You can have a look as you wish, and yeah, everything should be good to go.
Okay, I think I might need to refresh my page.
Yeah, you will need to refresh. I literally just added it.
Oh, okay.
It'll be an equipment though, and make sure that you open the actual tab, like click on it and look at it, because there's a lot of extra shit in there. You like that?
Fucking awesome.
You like that? Good.
Love it. Oh my god, I want to smash something with this. Not here. I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah, you see him throw a hand up. Please, please, please.
No, I know. I'm not gonna do it here. I'm not gonna do it here. I go smash some rocks or something.
I wanted to say thank you to not only you, but to your friends for, first of all, your valiant defeat of a giant ape, and secondly, for bringing it to but a humble servant of the enchanting arts to refine such a quality item into such a piece of perfectionism.
Yeah. Those are beautiful, nice words too. I probably would have said like this thing's fucking amazing.
Oh, yes, it is absolutely fucking amazing.
Oh my god. Okay, awesome, sweet. I gotta go show my friends. Thank you so much. You're amazing. I'll see you in a little bit.
Take care of yourself, Ree.
I love you.
Oh, what?
What? I'm gone.
I'm gone, baby. Okay, So. All right, so while Ree has bolted out of the tavern, what are the three of you doing?
I imagine Doc would have gotten up and gotten ready and then maybe gone to breakfast. First thing I do every time I enter that room is look for you-know-who. See if she's out there.
Go ahead and give me a perception check.
15.
She's not in the room. You're confident about that.
Okay.
Not like a, 15. Well, you needed a 16 because she's stealthing in the corner. No, you're good. She's just like hiding under a table. And Kevin, if I scripted that weapon right, when you equip it, it should have already removed that heavy feat or trait. So you should not, when you click it, you should not roll with disadvantage.
Okay, yeah, it doesn't say anything about heavy, but I just want to.
Yeah, you can do a test roll. Yeah, absolutely. Show me what you got. Actually, it'll help us. Yep, look at that. Beautiful.
It's going to do it with advantage. But yes, that works. Nice.
Awesome. How fucking cool is that?
He just fucks up a rock on the way back to the tavern.
Easy enough. Yeah, like as you swing down at it, it hits, and there's this weird. You see and this thing feels like you are carrying a wooden stick with just a rock strapped to it. It doesn't feel like a full-fledged war maul to you, not with this thing pulsing through you. It's like it courses through your body and just has literally transformed you. And that poor rock never fucking saw it coming.
This thing's fucking dust now.
All right. So, Doc, you look around. She's not there. Anything else?
No, probably just sit down and wait for the others so we can do breakfast.
Okay, understood. Aurora or Gray? Anything particular?
I think Gray would have probably, I guess, left last, but he would have grabbed something off of whatever plate was on the table there, and probably would have gone to head up, be like, I want to see the weapon, and probably get to the door just as Rhea arrives back.
Okay, fair enough. So you grab a scone off of the plate that was kind of hanging out there, and as you turn to walk through the door, you see that Rhee has blasted through the door at this point, and is just still in her skivvies, just with this mass. I mean, literally, it's like 1.5 times her height, and judging by the size of the tooth, her raw physical weight alone, at least as heavy as she is, and she's wielding it like it's a fucking kite.
Oh shit, great, look at my hammer, look at my hammer, this fucking amazing, look at that hammer! Look at it!
Holy damn, that thing is giant.
And there is a very evident rune of power on it, and it is in Rhee's hands, that thing is, vibrantly glowing, just.
Yeah,
Do you want to touch it?
Sure. Yeah, like kind of put his hand on like specifically where the rune is. Do I make a con save?
No, no, you don't have any other curses on you anymore because you got rid of those. So, no, yeah. So as you touch it, the rune is physically vibrating as fast as what a hummingbird would beat its wings. It is like 10,000 beats per minute, sort of like zzz. And as you pull your hand back, the vibration lingers for just a moment before fading, and the rune is very active.
That's fucking cool, right?
Aurora is not going to be out there yet.
Okay, understood. Aurora, are you doing anything special in there? I apologize, Lucy.
Sorry, I was gonna wait till after this was on. Yeah, I'm gonna check the scales and do what's going to become a morning commute with Meepo and figure out because I had that new one sprout that I was hiding, so I'm going to go and actually, when everyone's not there, shut the door, lock the door if I can, figure out what the fuck.
Okay, so why don't you do this? Make a medicine check for me.
After they're doing their talk scene.
That's okay. We like to mix it up. Put people on hold so we can jump back. These are, cutscenes.
Wow.
Meanwhile, in the room, alone, quietly in the corner, still freezing cold, Aurora prunes herself.
And then 30 seconds later.
Yeah, smashes the fucking stage with them all. And this is why we do things in cutscenes. No, okay. So as you look yourself over, now mind you, there is a full freestanding mirror in here too, which kind of helps you detail. And knowing Aurora, my assumption would be that she is meticulously like counting the scales around the eyes to make sure like there are no extra each day. Yeah, I had a feeling. Okay, so there are no extra today. They are all still there, and as you like touch them, they are physical scales, and as you lift up, the flesh underneath is your own flesh, though your skin tone as a whole has become just a little bit more pale. It's not like they have it's not like you've gained like that papery, almost like leathery reptilian hide. It is still soft halfling flesh that these things have protruded from, and it just makes no sense to you right now how the fuck they managed it, except the one word that keeps coming back into your head is magic.
Yeah, because that's definitely what she's great at processing.
Now, what you do here, as you're looking yourself in the eyes, right, especially because you have this wild, bandit mask, very obviously draconic scaled mask of small white scales. As you're looking at yourself, you do hear Meepo, not directly, but you get a feeling from Meepo that is telling you or teaching you or instinctually. He's imparting instinct on you on actually how to prune yourself, how to find the scales that have folded up in your sleep and are now damaged and need to be removed. And as you do that, like you reach up, on your right side, you slept hard on that last night, you feel that instinct like, ooh, this is a little itchy. And as you pull, the scale actually comes off. And as you blink and look back, the scale is literally regrowing as you're watching it out from the skin. You feel nothing. There's no pain. It's a little cold, but as it finishes within about 10 seconds, you have that new little tiny scale there.
Okay, that is cool as fuck. Also, I'm not going to leave any of my scales around because that just seems like a bad practice.
I absolutely agree. Plus, you don't know how much those things will go for.
Yeah, right? Like, oh, how much do you want for it? The other question, I've already got natural scale mail now. The other question is the scar gone where the gem had been in my chest initially?
That is a great question. So as you look down, no, that is still there.
Okay. I'm assuming so this whole thing is going to probably take Aurora a while, and then eventually she'll go out and eat and look at the hammer without actually showing that she's at all interested.
And it is a pretty cool fucking hammer. And as you look at it, you get that weird feeling again in your head, and it's just like, magic!
Yeah, that's going to take some getting used to.
Yeah. Okay, so everybody finds themselves in the main eating hall, the main dining hall of the House of the Dwarf Lord Inn. Aurora is looking, literally just ravishing. Even in her early morning, freshly pruned state, there is something that is glowing about her, not physically, but charismatically. It is just a weird instinct kind of like shed off of her now.
Sorry, I'm going to butt in there. I do want to emphasize I am keeping my hood up and forward. I am not, I'm hiding as much as I possibly can.
Understood. And I'm assuming that the arm that is fully scaled is gloved?
Mm-hmm. Yep,
okay.
Anything that is weird is going to be hidden.
Fair enough. All right, so you're all seated at the table. You are brought another plate of scones. This time they are like an elderberry scone that have this weird vanilla glaze over them. They're fucking delicious. They're a little crispy on the edges. And then served with jelly, butter, and your choice of milk and all sorts of other good breakfast beer, water, tea. So,
Hey, shopkeep, want to see my...
He kind of like glances over at it as you've been kind of, I'm assuming, swinging around and kind of, you know, like toying with it. He's like, "That's lovely. I assume you saw Ronald as I had suggested?"
Sure did, buddy. Thanks for the recommendation.
Yes, he does absolutely wonderful work. I was glad to see he could make something of that giant fang. Or tooth, molar, sorry, I don't know.
It was a back tooth, you know.
I don't understand dental terminology, unfortunately.
Neither do I. I don't know. I just yanked it out of his head and said, "Hey, I'm gonna make a hammer out of it." I didn't really.
Oh. That's absolutely grotesque. Mr. Gray, are you prepared for your performance tonight? We are officially done selling tickets because the house is packed. The house is packed. This is the first time in over a year that this tavern has had full capacity, full legal capacity.
I think as he like calls him out, Gray's probably gonna have like a scone in his mouth as he turns, and then just gonna give like a thumbs up, and then go back to eating.
He kind of nods and he says, "I admire your confidence, Mr. Gray. Very well. If anybody needs anything, I'll be around today. But at noon, we are shutting the tavern down completely, so in just a couple of hours, and we are going to get the stage finished." And then he points towards the door. It will take up the entirety of the front portion of the door, as we do have armed guards on the outside security. And then there will be a black drop behind or in front of the door as you were to exit, so that way, Mr. Gray, you can have yourself at least a decent backdrop. And we thought black was just fitting. No offense.
Not wrong.
Very well. He nods and he walks away with the platter.
Okay, so how can we help you with this whole thing? Like, what do you need us to do? Should we be like ooh and ah in the crowd? Should we try to pump everybody up? Or we're gonna be like set pieces? What's going on?
I actually have the perfect job for you, Reed. I think you're gonna love it. I want you at the end when I signal you to literally come up stage and show off the cool ass hammer you do.
I mean, I'm probably gonna be showing it out the whole time.
I know, but like, might as well.
You want me to like come up and smash the stage with it?
Please don't smash the stage, but like wave it around. You know, give it a few swings. I'll give some fake targets.
Okay, yeah, I can do that. Just try to stay out of the way of this thing, because I mean it's fucking huge as fuck, boy.
Don't smack down. You will go through them, so don't aim at the floor.
Go through what?
Targets, they're illusions.
Oh, okay. Don't smack down. Got it.
Gray, make an insight check.
Okie doke.
Oh boy.
You have a very high passive insight. Let's see if old DMX can help you out here.
I don't like these rules.
No, 14 is actually not bad. It is very evident with the way that Ree said that Ree probably has never fought an illusion and might not exactly understand what you're talking about.
Alright, tell you what, want to go swing the hammer around in town?
Oh yeah, I've already been doing that.
Well, I'll give you some actual target dummies. I just need to get out of this fucking house. I've been here for about 3 days now.
Yeah, let's go whack some imaginary illusions.
I need to go touch some grass. Let's go.
A whole lot of grass out there.
Is Aurora at the table? At this point?
Probably.
Yeah, I thought everybody was at the table.
Yeah, I thought so too.
So hang on, just to reset the scene. So at this point, Gray and Ree get up and leave the tavern to go and do some illusory target practice. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
So as they walk out, Doc will turn to Aurora and say, "Oh, that's cute." And Gray is obsessed with making out. Maybe Ree will be very happy very soon.
Gray, make a perception check. You've got a very high passive perception. Okay. You
Just rolls out before the portal.
Yeah, you hear them mumbling to each other, you know, girl talk as you are walking away.
What is it Gray always says? Is they kissed yet? Something like that.
We can ask him when they get back.
We absolutely should.
Let me do it. It'll make him extra mad if I do it.
We could add a bet to it. It doesn't actually have to be a bet. But
He seems like a prude, so I'd say they don't.
Ree is very excited. Gray's very stressed. Think probably before we leave town.
Oh, I could see that, yeah. Well, especially, I mean, look, not only is Ree strong as fuckboy, but she is also very charming in a weird goblin-y way.
That's true.
Not in a weird goblin way, yes.
Charming as fuck, boy.
Charming as fuck.
You know, we should get Ree some flowers to give to Gray.
I feel like that's cheating. I feel like you're trying to win the bet.
Well, yeah.
Although we're both betting the same thing. Who are we paying? Ourselves?
They just need to see the exchange of coins after we ask if they've kissed you.
Okay.
The rest does not matter.
Alright, Ruby. Alright, that's perfect. Oh, this is gonna be a really good day. I noticed that I didn't get a job.
I don't think either of us.
I already have a job. That's okay. It's not you.
I mean, would be interested in seeing how that went.
I don't think it's gonna be that kind of job, but I need to talk to somebody while he's doing his thing. I think I might try to take advantage of having that time. So,
Would you like accompaniment so that, you know, while the entire town seems to be in this singular room, would you like accompaniment?
I suspect I'll still be in this room.
No, Tay.
So, sure. The one thing that I will say though is, I don't know what kind of like magic-y stuff that you can do, but if you see him start to struggle, if there's any magic-y stuff you can do, maybe try to help.
You want me to improvise Booyah in the middle of in the middle of Gray's performance with the entire town?
That's what I heard.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I also will try to help however I can. I'm a little limited on what I can do, but just, you know, I feel like I don't like him very much, but he has been oddly loyal. You know, he could have just left in Middleton. He could have just left. I don't know if you know, but he was in the front seat the whole time. He came back, he risked everything to sit in the front seat and either watch us die or make sure we were safe. I'm not really sure which one he was there for, but he was there. He could have just left. So there's something to be said for that, and we get a lot of warnings. But I don't know. I think that he's softer than he wants us to know. I think that he likes us more than he wants. I think he likes me a lot more than he wants me to know. But yeah. So I think he needs this win.
Will do what I can, but I don't think Meepo tended towards that sort of thing.
Excuse me, guys.
I'm tired of no, but I will.
I certainly have something I can do to help if need be.
Gonna share.
It's kind of like, I mean, it's exactly what you would need for a performance. So changing the lights or making things louder or making loud scary noises at the right times. I don't know, I'm still new to this magic thing.
She looks contemplative, as if she is trying to figure out if that thing that she did also could do similar things.
Yeah, see, I think you're thinking along the same lines now.
We could probably do something tandem if we need to try and amplify it.
That's what I'm saying. And he may not need it at all. I mean, it's possible he's a great storyteller. I haven't heard him say more than like 5 words in a sentence. So it's possible he's great at this, and maybe that's why everybody loves him. I'm still not sure.
I have never, Bards, it's gonna sound kind of bad considering everything. Bards weren't worth a whole lot, so we didn't tend to keep them around. So I
It
don't.
doesn't sound bad. It seems legit for what you were doing, right? I mean, you guys needed people who could shoot people in the neck when they weren't expecting it, and you guys needed people who could, you know, silently sneak people away. Bards don't do anything silently.
Which is why they weren't usually worth even the hunt.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Well, we'll see. Hopefully he does a good job. He's been practicing really hard. I think that's really what it is for me. I remember the first surgery I ever had to do. I can't tell you how many times I practiced before I had to do it because I was so nervous and it meant so much to me. And I think that even a person that I truly couldn't stand, like a person that I really didn't like, which is not Gray, I actually like him a little bit, but I wouldn't want to see them fail. Do not tell them I said that. I wouldn't want to see him fail at something that he's been practicing so hard at, because it's devastating.
I think, as shadowy as he likes to be, I think this will be his moment to shine.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And when I first got stuck with all of you, that was meant to be my name hunt. I will never admit to having said this, but in the morning of, before we went out to meet with the mayor, I woke up just cold sweats, just terrified of what we were going to see there. And now, look at us. Look at the two of us from where we used to be.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
There's no... Has it?
Oh, yeah. The last 2 weeks has been the longest year of my life. But I will say, like I said, he's stuck around a few times. He's had a few chances where he could have slipped away and been gone. I don't know if it's for Ree, and you know what, honestly, if it is for Ree that he's sticking around, that makes me like him even more. So,
When you gave him the coins, I thought we'd wake up and he'd be gone. That said a lot, but he wasn't.
yeah, I didn't think, honestly, I get where he's coming from. Yes, it was mildly annoying, but I expect nothing less from him, to be honest. But I understand where he's coming from. Again, it's only been 2 weeks. And he's the only one of us that hasn't died. I feel like you and me and Ray kind of have a connection because we all died and came back and went through that trauma, and he hasn't. He's just fallen from grace. I don't know. Also,
So
speaking
you
of
can
that,
say that with a just in front of it.
well, I don't know which is worse, because I've never fallen from grace. I'm clearly very graceful.
The most.
Were
Well, when I was a
very
cat, at
graceful.
least.
You adapt to not having a tail very well most of the time.
It's because I was always a gnome at heart.
I will say I don't think I was a halfling at heart.
No, you're clearly what you are now at heart. That is why
I don't know what I am now.
you're Aurora.
Yeah, which means I'm stuck protecting all of you.
She'll grab like a biscuit and shove it in Aurora's mouth. Conversation over.
Yeah, and it's like, as you were saying, that's why I have to protect all of you. Your mouth goes open and there's this dry-ass biscuit in your mouth.
Oh, no, I don't have the constitution for this anymore. You're gonna kill me by biscuit.
Death by biscuit.
This is what I should have done the first time.
Best assassination ever.
I agree. I was just about to say that.
That's all I have. So we can move on.
All right, so Ree and Gray. So you exit the house of the Dwarf Lord Inn, and you head up towards the northwest behind the Temple of Mordine, where you are aware there is a public garden and park. As you approach, very much like the other days you've been here, there is nobody in it because dwarves don't really dig that sort of thing, at least not most of them. But it is what it is. So you enter the garden.
On the way here, Gray would absolutely go. Do you think we should get them some flowers?
Oh yeah, you think they like flowers? You think they want to make them kiss or something? Is that what you're talking about?
Absolutely.
I don't know. Yeah. What kind of flowers do you like?
I don't know, actually.
No. Do you like the bright yellow ones over there? I'll get you those. I mean, I'll get them those.
You know what? I think they'll like that, but I think Aurora now would go for something a bit bluer.
Yeah, that's fair.
Oh, get some blue flowers, give them to Doc. There we go.
Yeah. I'll do that. All right. Yeah. She'll pick up some blue flowers and put them in a little bundle. And they're like, all right, so what are we doing? How are we doing this? You do your illusionary thing, and then I whack at it, or what are we doing?
Yeah, I guess I'll just make some illusions. You whack at it. Try not to break anything around, including the floor.
Okay.
Also, these aren't going to look great because I'm not going to use actual. Well, I'm not going to put as much effort into these.
Okay.
And I'm basically going to start using minor illusion to make some really shitty goblins. Why not?
Okay.
Actually, that's a bad choice.
You do the little sharks.
Yeah, sure. I'll make those. Shards.
Make a shart right here in the garden.
So please do not shart in the garden of the Temple of Moradine.
Please tell me there was a priest nearby.
Yeah, give me a second. There might have been.
Yeah, make a big old shart right there. 2 of them, in fact.
There is not. There happens to not be. But as you say that, you hear a door close, and he just missed it. Okay, so Gray begins to mutter these incantations one after another, and they're very, very, very shitty. It looks like somebody. It looks like, a kid says, "I drew a dinosaur at school," and you're like, "You're in kindergarten. Let's see." And you look at it, and you're like, okay. It's like that. Like, you see this little blue, like, monstrosity, like, one-dimensional kind of pop up, and you swing at it. Go ahead and give me an attack roll with disadvantage on this first one. We're building something beautiful. All right, so you swing down and you hit it, and as you hit it, it disappears in this puff of shadow. Gray again. Whoop, summons another one behind you. Go ahead and make an attack roll, straight roll.
All right. This is going to be an overhead attack. Yeah.
All right, yeah, and as you do so, these things don't have weight to them like normal, but they dissolve like you would expect when you make contact. So you hit it in a puff of smoke, but because it was an overhead attack, you continue forward and you absolutely decimate this small bush with these big yellow, like rosebuds on them, just completely fucking annihilated.
Minus points. I said try not to break anything.
Oops. Well, here, while we're here, have a flower.
Yes.
It's yellow.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's got like 4 of the 9 petals still on it, but it looks nice.
Yeah, see? That looks nice. Matches your eyes?
Thank you.
As you look closer, his eyes are jet black.
I don't know how this
No
works.
whites, no pupils, no nothing. It's just all black.
There's
Okay.
some like orange, like yellowish on like the edges of his coat and hat.
Yeah, it matches that.
Okay, so with that, another snap and poof, an illusion appears next to you. Another little goofy-looking Jvart. Go ahead and make an attack roll, straight roll again.
All right.
Take that, little shark. Nasty motherfucker.
Yeah, so again, as you do so, you hit it and you swing so hard that you almost spin yourself in a circle. If this rune would not have held you back because of the weight, you would have absolutely just started doing a little spinny whoosh whoosh. But it held decent enough to where you only manage your swing and then a little bit of a follow through. And it poof, vanishes. You feel like after a couple swings, and you continue with this for, let's say, the next, like, 5 or 10 minutes with these snap illusion, to the point where you understand how to hit them and not follow through to the point where you are destroying things beyond them.
I like the idea of like semi-training. It's like you gray eventually start spawning like multiple.
With what spell?
It's just minor illusion, but I've used it before to make like arrows and stuff.
Yeah, okay, I'll give it to you. But if you try that shit in combat, I'm gonna call you out.
I'm not gonna try.
Okay, all right. For flavor, yes, we'll say that there are 2 at a time. Poof, poof. Then a third, and you see he's fucking sweating. Gray is sweating. His poor little fragile constitution cannot hold these illusions for what they're worth with a single word cantrip. But you manage to pop, 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 and you feel good. You're like, fuck yeah, I can definitely kill shit that's not there.
That's pretty cool, man. I mean, like it's a little bit less satisfying when they just kind of poof into smoke, but it's still pretty cool, man. I mean, I feel like I got this nailed down. I'm not gonna hit the fucking stage anymore. I don't think. I mean, I'm gonna be drinking.
Just to break anything, I guess. I'd hate to have Doc pay for it.
I think we got a shit ton of money in it. I think we're good.
Yeah, but I don't want to waste it unnecessarily.
All right, so I'm gonna pick up some of these flowers, and should we make it back to the place? You want to?
Get some blue ones.
Yeah. Get the blue ones. Yeah, you got the blue ones. You got that? Got another yellow one for you there. Here, put in your lapel or something.
Can I like when Reed's not looking, just toss him over my shoulder?
Monster.
Yeah. Give me a
Evil.
give me a sleight of hand check. It's actually, hang on, let me see. I know, I was like, that is one. That's all you needed. So Rhea's like locked eyes with you, and you like hand it to her, and you see her take one big heavy blink, and you're like, whoop. She doesn't even realize it.
All right. Yeah. So Rhea will gather up some blue flowers and then head back to the inn.
Okay. So you guys head back to the inn. You arrive back at the inn, and Doc and Aurora are just finishing up their conversation, kind of just munching on their breakfast and finishing up. We'll say at about this time, it's, 11:30 in the morning, about an hour and a half has passed. What would you like to do?
Rhea will approach Doc. Hey, Doc. Gray said you should give these to Aurora. She'll hand you some flowers.
Doc will
So,
take the flowers.
Stealthily, I guess.
So, give me a sleight of hand check.
She's not very nuanced.
So you pull this bundle of flowers out. They're very stubby looking. They don't have a whole lot of stem to them. They're very, very short in stature, but they have these really wide green leaves around them. And you snatched a good handful of them. And as you hand them over, Doc like kind of reaches out. Everybody clear as day sees him, and you hear somebody behind you. Hey, what the fuck you got there? Excuse me.
Yeah.
You take that from the clergyman over at the temple?
I took him from the park over there.
You fucking kidding me? You understand that you've just committed a crime, my friend?
Oh shit, did I?
One moment. Guardsman! Guardsman!
Oh,
He
Guardsman.
starts snapping his fingers, and you see it's this pompous-looking, aristocratic dwarf man, probably late 30s, early 40s for dwarves. That's probably like late 20s, just getting into his professional life. And he starts snapping and calling. You see 2 guardsmen who were sitting and having their breakfast, kind of like look over. take deep breaths. They both stand up. They grab their pikes and they kind of walk over towards the table. Is there something wrong here, my friend? They look at the man who was just calling them. Excuse me, do you see what this lass here is holding? She's holding sacred flowers of the Dwarf Lord. Is there a reason why a goblin should be walking around our city with something stolen from the clergyman over at the Temple of Moradine? He kind of blinks heavy. Sorry, go ahead, Lucy. What are you doing?
At this point, I think Gray would kind of get annoyed because they just ruined a good joke, and he'll kind of look over and go, "Yeah, you saved your fucking city. Now shut up and eat."
Make an intimidation check. So the guard who was talking looks at you and looks visibly shaken. You see him actually kind of like reel back, like the fucking audacity. The guy next to him, however, goes, "What the fuck did you just say, you fallen piece of shit? Stand up and turn around."
I was aiming it at the pompous guy, not at them.
I don't give a fuck. Do you understand you're talking to one of the guild artisans? Stand up, turn around, put your fucking hands behind your back. Now!
Hold on.
Shut your mouth! Sit down! This is official business on orders of the city. Do not make me alert more guards. I swear I will have all of you clasped in irons right now. Sit down, shut your mouth. You sit down. You, drop the holy flowers right now. You, fallen man, turn around, put your arms behind your back. And he begins to walk towards you while taking manacles off of his belt.
It's going to be very difficult for him to do his show tonight if he's in jail. Is
Can I
there,
just plant these again? Put it back in my...
So while you are saying that, they are already actively moving towards Gray. Gray, are you resisting?
No, I'll just cause more trouble. He's gonna look annoyed.
Okay, so the guy who you did not successfully intimidate very aggressively grabs you by the shoulder. It's about as far as he can reach because he's a little guy. And he kind of throws you over the table very dramatically. The whole table kind of shudders and shakes. And he does. He clasps him in irons, in manacles, grabs the chains, and then actually hooks the chain to his own belt. There's like a big frog, which is like a metal ring strapped to a piece of leather on his belt. And he straps it to him and he says, "You're going to need to come with me, boy. Move." And he starts pushing with his pike, kind of prodding him towards the door. The other guy, who's still pretty visibly shaken, like he saw the face of death in whatever the fuck Gray said, kind of looks around and he takes the flowers from the table and he kind of tucks them away in a small pouch. And he glances around, and the aristocrat at this point, he's got this smug, shit-eating grin on his face. "You really shouldn't mess with temple property when you're in a city that doesn't belong to you."
Well, we're not very accustomed to the customs here, so...
Maybe you should teach your friend some fucking manners then. How about that? And he kind of like, he nudges over towards Gray.
if nothing else, this is going to make the story he tells later today more interesting. So, where would he be getting taken to, by chance?
Oh, he's being taken to the jail just south of here.
Okay, alright. Who would we talk to about, paying to get him out, or...
At this point, the aristocrat has turned and walked away. He's rejoined the other guild artisans. Now, they're all very clearly wearing, like, guild tabards. He sits down, and you hear him very, very loudly in Dwarven, so I know Rhea and Aurora speak Dwarven. You hear him very loudly, like, "Can you believe these fucking assholes came in and defiled the Dwarf Lord's own personal garden, the only piece of beauty we have in this fucking city? A goblin of all things and a fucking fallen angel, really?" You just hear it. You just hear him fucking firing off.
Yeah, goblin of all things.
While Doc's talking to the guard to figure out where Gray's going, Aurora's going over by the pompous ass.
Question, Xavier.
Okay, we're gonna... Hold on 1 second. Candace, go ahead and ask your question.
Was he one of the people I've seen with the friend, the lady person that I've been watching, and two, if not, does he have the same symbol as her, for as far as the guild goes?
That's a good question. Make an intelligence check. Because intelligence is used to remember things.
16.
It's actually not a bad fucking roll. It is not a tabard you have seen before. So this tabard that he's wearing is purple with silver trim, and the icon in the center are multiple gold coins falling into a small bag. He is sitting with other people at the table who all also have that identical sigil. You, though, can make a history check for me. Actually, Aurora can make a history check as well.
Is this one where I get the advantage on?
Yes. Jesus Christ. You don't got to apologize, Lucy. This is Dungeons and Dragons, baby. This is how we do it. The fact that you guys haven't fought fucking town guards yet, oh, wait, you did fight town guards. Actually, you killed a bunch of town guards, if I'm not mistaken, in Middleton.
No, we didn't kill anybody.
Nope, we were careful about
Yeah,
that.
we gave in.
fight them, but we didn't
We
kill
did
them.
fight them. Well, I didn't fight them. I was innocent.
They killed me, or tried to.
Okay, so the advantage. Okay, so both of you recognize this. Give me 1 second, pull up my notes here, so I'll give you the right info. So, you both recognize this as the sigil of the House of Anvil Rock Banking Company.
Oh, the fuck.
What's Beaufort's last name again?
Anvor.
Oh, you heard me.
I heard.
Yeah, okay.
We don't want to
Okay.
actually know Beaufort, though. He was disowned.
So, that was just a side piece. We have kind of frozen here. Candace, that was your only question?
That was, yes. I'll continue my conversation after that.
Okay, Aurora. As Gray is being led out, Guy sits down, and you walk up and approach Guy.
Yeah, because Aurora just got a sudden, very murderous flash of rage there that she's going to try very hard to behave, keep in check for Doc's sake. But she's going to go up and she's going to say sweetly in Dwarven, I'm sorry, do you mind if I ask you a couple of clarifying questions about what just happened there?
So the pompous douche kind of turns on his chair and kind of squints down at you and kind of like reels back a little bit. And he goes, "What in the hell are you?"
I'm sorry, what did you just say to me?
You heard what I said. What the hell are you? And he kind of does this.
She's gonna push back her hood and stand up straight as her 2'9" can.
Make a performance check.
Oh shit. You know what? I'm gonna use my inspiration.
Fuck yeah. That's a good place to use it. Holy shit.
Nice.
All four people at this table, the three men and the young woman, all back in their seats as they see the full face of Scales on you. Or the full bandit mask of Scales in the gem. And you hear the woman in the back in Dwarven go, "Oh, fuck." The guy kind of squints down. Are those dragon scales?
Tell me, friend, were you planning on hearing the tale at the inn tonight?
He blinks heavily for a moment, and then he says, we'll right, we'll be there. But what? I'm sorry, what does that have to do? What the? Excuse me, no offense. And this is all in Dwarven. He says, no offense. But what the fuck are you?
Oh, all the offense was taken because you just had the star of the show taken out of here in manacles for absolutely no goddamn reason, especially considering that the followers of Garl, the ones over there, and she's going to gesture back, are
Kinda
on good
looks-
graces with the others in this town. After, we emerged from the mines, killed a bunch of ogres, Varts,
He blinks
Yeah,
kind of
that's what I'm saying.
he blinks kind of heavy, and then he kind of like thinks, and he goes, I didn't have anything to do with your friend being taken. That was the guardsman. I just wanted the flowers back from the goblin.
You went straight to anger and yelling for the guards. You haven't even finished your ale yet.
He blinks again. Well, unfortunately, that's out of my hands, and if that shits on his parade, it's not my problem. We are in good graces with all of the followers of Garl, and Moradin, as far as that's concerned, within the city limits. And though I can see that she clearly has a nugget, and she also has a nugget, doesn't tell me much when you're defiling the temple of another god. I understand that Garl's a trickster. We understand that greatly. But I don't think you understand the religious necessity that those flowers prove for the people of this city. Did you know that those, when cooked down into incense, are used as part of the resurrection ritual to bring those back from the dead? Our fighters, our miners.
My friend, you could have asked before immediately calling for the guards. Just because there is a goblin or a gnome or one such as myself here does not mean that they are defiling the temples of this land.
No, it could have been another dwarf or a fucking dragon, and I would have still called them out because they defiled the temples of our city. Race has nothing to do with it, it just so happens you're outsiders.
It so happened that you made that the star of things. There still could have been recompense. That could have been solved without needing the guards. But that's neither here nor there. What I came over to ask is if you would be willing, in a great show of kindness and goodwill, you would be willing to lend your aid towards, re-educating and helping get our bardic friend back in time for the show tonight.
Make a persuasion check.
Thank you, Meepo's charisma.
So he begins to talk and he says, I really don't think I have an interest. And you hear the woman say, actually, I'm gonna stop you right there. I'm your superior. And I think she's right. He kind of turns back and he says, don't you Griselda me. I've already told you what needs to be done. You follow her, you re-educate, because when we re-educate those back into the system, they profit for all. And although he's fallen, you know what this entails for the guild, don't you? This performance is bringing in a lot of coin. Do you understand me, Bartholomew? He kind of nods. All right. I'll go with her. Turns back to you. So what do you want from me? You want me to go and have a conversation with the fallen angel and try to bring him back from grace? Or are you interested in having me go down to the jail and have a talk with the guardsman and throw this whole thing away? He insulted the guardsman. He didn't insult me. The reason he got arrested is because he fired his fucking mouth off to the guardsman. I can do what I can as far as pulling strings, but I'm not paying for his bail. The woman pipes in, you're right, we're not paying for his bail. He fired his mouth off on his own accord. But you re-educate like the lady asked. You understand me? All right.
Aurora will look past him to her. Do they have any recognizable things that would indicate rank, title, anything like that?
Nothing that stands out to you.
Then she'll just
Actually, you know what? What's your passive insight now? Is it still 15?
Oh, I don't know. Oh, no.
No. Okay, I didn't think so. What is your passive insight now?
12 now.
Is that
Hey,
all?
don't say it like that.
Is that also your passive perception?
No, that shouldn't have changed. My wisdom's still
Okay.
fucking amazing.
Okay. All right. Disregard that question.
Yeah, the passive intelligence did decrease as well.
Yeah, that hurts, doesn't it? Okay. So he stands. The man stands and he says, are you interested in going now, or are we supposed to what you want? I mean, he's probably being led straight to get booked.
No, now works. And she'll switch to calm and say, Doc.
Doc will be talking. Will be in a conversation. I don't know when we wanted to do that.
Yeah, we'll stop that. But okay, so we'll pause right there. Now, at this point, Gray has been escorted out of the building and is gone. Both guardsmen at this point are gone. They are out of the building. Aurora is in the midst of conversation. We'll say early stages of this conversation with the guild members, the banking guild members. Excuse me, Doc and Ree.
Doc actually would have been trying to grab the attention of the not angry guardsman. So if I have to follow him, I will. But she would be saying, "Listen, I understand that the fallen one ran his mouth as he often does. However, I really want to spare your partner from a lot of embarrassment because there are a lot of people who paid a lot of money for a show for that guy tonight. And so, however we can make this move quickly, that's what we need to do."
Make a persuasion check with disadvantage. As unfortunately you guys did just fail a scene.
10.
Okay. He glances down at you and he says, "I'm sorry, we miss." And we miss, just so you know, is an endearing term from dwarves to smaller folk from their own. "I'm sorry, we miss. I don't run the town. I don't make laws, and I'm not entirely sure where you're from, but as dwarves, law is law, and we abide by it to the tooth and the nail. If this were to throw everything out of the gates of the city, then so be it, in the name of the law and justice. Your friend just mouthed off, so I don't foresee him being there for much longer than an hour or so. But somebody's gonna have to come and pay his fine, unless he can pay his own way out."
He should be able to pay his limit. It's an hour, you say.
He looks down even closer and he squints at you. "Also, might not be a bad idea to tell your friend, to encourage your friend, to, and I mean this non-disrespectfully, but to shut his fucking mouth when it is unnecessary for him to speak. Everybody can see what he is, and we expect the worst out of his kind.
Oh, yeah, delivering that message will not be a problem.
You travel with him, I don't."
Yeah. How much, do you know how much it would cost to bail him out?
You can go down to the jail and ask the constable.
Okay. You said probably only an hour?
Depends on if he runs his mouth anymore,
Okay.
or causes any trouble.
Doc seems like she's calculating
If he does cause any more trouble, then unfortunately he could be put into the trial circuit, and it could be another week or so before he is seen.
Okay. Ugh, okay. Thank you. And I'm sorry that... I mean, I didn't do anything. I'm innocent. But I'm sorry that he's an asshole.
It's clearly not your fault. He did something he was well aware of, fell from grace, and now he's an asshole.
I think he's angry because... Well, it doesn't matter. Thank you. And she'll, like, kind of try to, like, catch up to the other.
As you do that, you feel a hand on your shoulder, and you feel the guardsman kind of spin you around. You feel he what? Is there something we should be aware of?
No, I think that he... I don't know him that well. I've only known him a few weeks, but I think he wants to do better. But he's got, I don't want to call it an anger issue, because he's not really an angry person. He's just got a mouth on him.
That was a pretty angry display, to tell somebody to shut the fuck up and eat their food. It's pretty angry.
He thinks he's more scary than he is, I think.
Bless his heart.
Bless his heart. But we'll make everything right, and like I said, this will be just a funny addition to the story. Are you going to be there for the story today?
Unfortunately, my family doesn't have enough coin to have purchased a ticket, so no.
Okay. I'll let you know if you make it in there. What's your name?
No, thank you.
Okay.
And he turns and walks away.
Alright, so she's going to try to catch up to the other crowd.
So you're like running out the door.
Yeah.
Okay, so you bolt out the door, and as you bolt out the door, you hook to the, or you actually, as you come straight out, you see that Gray is about halfway to the jail at this point, and the guardsman who has now called, and there is a small contingent. There's 4 other guardsmen just kind of like moving in towards the, towards the quote unquote scene, and they are moving towards the jail.
Okay.
Guys, I'm sorry, my cough's coming back. Anything?
We would just be watching the group of individuals at the table with Aurora, just to make sure they don't do anything.
Okay, understood. All right, so Doc, as you're outside, Gray, are you giving any guff or saying anything or doing anything that I should note as you're being led out of here?
He's gonna be a bit angry, but he's not gonna do anything, obviously. Not obviously, but he's not gonna do anything. Because, he doesn't have a problem with the guards. The insult was actually directed to the asshole. But,
Okay. All right, so as you're being led south,
Sorry, can he see Doc at all as she's trying to catch up?
no, he's being led by 5 men,
Okay.
South, and you are running up from behind. But as you are running up from behind, you see 2 of the guards stop, they turn, and they aim heavy crossbows at you. Something we can do for you, lass.
I'm gonna have to pay to get that guy out.
All right, you can follow us, but why don't you just meet us at the jail? Maybe walk a little over to the side. No offense, but you come sprinting up on us like that, and we get a little trigger quiver, is what we like to call
Oh,
it.
I understand. I just want to make sure I'm acting quick because I got to get him free for his story tonight.
All right, you can meet him at the jail.
Okay.
So they take their time as they move in a semi-formation down towards the jail. So you actually beat them to the jail, Candace.
Okay.
As you enter, the jail itself is actually pretty solid. It looks good. Like there's a front entryway, couple small, potted plants, which are thriving. One of which has those beautiful blue flowers growing up and out of it with the symbol of Moradine imprinted in the side of the stone pot that they're in. And there is a large grate that separates you from the gentleman behind. It's a middle-aged dwarven man. You can start to see the crow's feet on his eyes. Very long goatee tied down into a single knot at the end of which is attached to a braid, and his his mustache is curled out into 2 little whiskers. And he sees you come in. Ah, hello there, lass. Something I can do for ya. You trying to bail somebody out?
Well, potentially. I have a question though.
Yeah, I can answer that for ya.
A couple things. If I were to pay someone's bail, could they still hang out for like an hour in jail?
Well, no, that's not exactly how it works, miss. But the processing time takes about an hour, so I suppose if you pay for them now, then yeah, they'll probably sit here for a little while.
Okay. So
But we will legally have to note to them that their bail's been paid.
Okay. Yeah, I think I like how all of this is going to play out. Okay, so I think that what we should do. So we've got. Are you? So quick question, just so that you have a little background. So, Did you buy a ticket to that show at the House of the Dwarf Lord tonight?
No, I saw a couple posters for it, but to be quite honest with you, it sounds kind of fruity. Not really interested in hearing stories from some fallen angel about some people fighting. I don't know, there was like a giant tooth or something involved, and I'm not really interested in that, to be quite honest with you. I like things a little bit more frilly, not fruity. Like, I like things to have a little bit more sass and not quite as much ass. Does that make any sense to you, sweetheart?
Honestly, complete, total, 100% sense. So the person that's doing that show is the one who apparently he was too excited to start talking and started talking very early today and said the wrong thing. So we're gonna have to make sure he's out in time for the show tonight.
So he starts to rapidly flip through he's got like this little ledger, and he goes, I don't have any fallen angels in here since last year. Why the fuck? Is he in the ceiling? Is that what they do? Do they turn into shadows and fly up into the rafters?
No, I'm just a fast runner. They're on their way.
Not yet.
Oh, he fucked up.
He did.
Okay, okay. Oh, you mean he fucked up just like right now?
Yeah, just like right now.
Oh, bless his heart.
Bless his heart. Yeah, I guess what I would like to do is just make sure that he'll be out. If it takes like an hour to process, or maybe an hour and a half, I mean, that's fine. 2 hours, but
What?
as
Wait,
long as
no. All right, now, so, keep your voice down. You're getting excited. What you getting at here?
I think that he maybe needs a timeout.
Are you one of his friends?
Yes, I'm a companion of his.
Is he drunk?
No.
Is he
Oh,
carrying any illegal contraband on him?
I don't think so. We all carry our own stuff, so I can't say yes or no.
Anything of necromantic origin, poisons, anything stolen that may be intended for fencing, anything of the sort?
I don't think so.
Any magical items that are imbued with the enchantment that could alter the state of somebody's mind?
Again, I don't know for sure.
Okay. Well, if he's got nothing on him like that, unfortunately, sweetheart, I can't keep him here for much longer. But if he does,
Oh.
could be here for quite some time.
Well, I don't want it to be too long, so I want to make sure he makes it to the show. But I do want him to learn a lesson. That's really where I'm getting with this.
Oh, right. So you want me to slow the paperwork down a little bit?
Just like to an hour. Just like an hour or so. An hour.
Well, it takes me about an hour to do all the paperwork anyways, as far as the law is concerned. But you want me to slow it down another hour?
Maybe half an hour. Make him sweat a little.
Okay. That's fine by me.
How much? So basically, he was very rude to a guard. He was. I don't think he was trying to be rude to the guard, but that's how it was perceived. And it was. And that's why he's getting brought here, because he kind of just a little bit too much. So, what does that usually cost?
If he was rude to a guard? I mean, give me a moment. He starts to flip through he pulls this little book and he starts flipping through it, gets to a page and he goes, rude to a guard. Well, technically there's no crime for being rude to a guard. Now, if he cussed at a guard,
He did.
that we may have a little problem there. That's a 3 gold fine. I know it sounds steep, but we cannot take our guardsmen and demean them beyond the point of their own salary.
I agree. They're doing a service. I agree.
And like I said, if he has any illegal contraband on him, he could be here for weeks, if not months.
I don't want him to be in here for weeks. That's for sure. I want him to be able to do his show at the very least. I know that we all of us have found items as we've gone along, so he probably has something on him. I don't know about illegal, but I'm sure he has magic items. Okay, so
Well, thankfully, and he holds up this little stick. It's a little wand, and at the end of it, there's this little pink jewel that's floating around the tip of it. Thankfully, we've got plenty of magic to do. I don't actually use this because I don't know how to make it work, but that's what they do to, see the things on people when they come in. It's very rare that we have somebody who has something illegal on them, but
yeah. So again, I don't
it's
know.
about that time that the door opens and in comes the 5 guardsmen and Gray.
So Daphne she would have been saying, again, I don't know him that well, so I don't know what he has, but, and then as they come in, she'd kind of look back and say, I guess we'll see. And she'll just take a step to the side.
Okay, so Gray is brought into the room. 2 of the 2 that were wielding crossbows step kind of into the corners, and they kind of train towards the center. They're treating Gray, even in his fragile appearance, his fragile facade, as if he were a dragon that was about to be unleashed upon the continent. Very over dramatized. They push him up against one of the walls. They reach back and they begin to pat him down. And as they do so, they begin to remove some items.
If Doc can grab his eye, like grab eye contact with him, she's gonna kind of give him like a mom look, like
He is
"Don't-"
being put. He is up against a wall.
Okay.
I know you know my items, Xavier.
I'm actually looking through them right now because I forgot what you
Yeah.
actually have equipped. I know one of them might not be great. Oh, two of
No,
them. Two of them might not be great.
Yeah.
Well, he's very nervous.
Oh, you actually had everything equipped in the record?
Well, it was in my coat, so when I got dressed, it was like mostly in there.
Okay, I see. I see the two things that could be an issue.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Well, time to come
I'm
back.
pretty
as a kobold.
screwed.
You're gonna play a kobold living inside someone else's chest for the remainder of this campaign.
Yo, can
I
Reaper
am
come
not
back as a
sharing
familiar?
that with him.
Look, man, if you didn't want to do the performance, we could have delayed it another fucking week.
Plenty of roleplay we could have done.
I was ready for that performance. I wasn't ready for this.
Okay. So they kind of go through. You see, one of the guardsmen takes that wand, activates it, and begins to just kind of like wave it. And as he activates it, the pink crystal begins to vibrate and spin around it, shedding this pink light. As he kind of like goes over Gray's body, they stop at the lantern at his side, and he looks down and he goes, "Nothing wrong with that. It's just an enchantment. It's a lantern of revealing. It looks like." Continues to move. Goes down a little bit further, hits the hand drum, or I don't know if it's the hand drum or the war drum you would have had on you, but whichever of the drums you had on you, he stops at it and goes, "Oh, interesting. This is used as, oh, that's right, he's a bard. It's some slight magical infusion here, but nothing to be worried about." Continues to go around. They kind of pull your coat open and go inside, and you hear the guy with the wand go, "Holy shit. What is this?" And he reaches inside and he pulls out this large gnomish leather-bound tome with the face imprinted as flesh on the front of it. And he holds it out to the other guardsmen, and almost all of them in unison shrug. And he looks down and he says, "I think it's a fucking spell book bound in the flesh of something. Something small. I can't tell if it's a gnome or a halfling or a dwarf." He starts to flip through the pages and he's using the wand. "Holy shit! By all that's holy, this fucking guy's been walking around with a book ripped with necromancy for how fucking long in our city?" At this point, the manacles are tightened, and you feel manacles get clasped onto your legs. As Doc, you see two of the 5 guards approach and bind his feet in manacles, tie the manacles to his back, and then the one guy who had it hooked to his waist, he unhooks that and wraps it twice around his neck, pulling it back ever so slightly and attaching it to the waist band. So there are essentially 5 chains binding Gray now, with Gray being forced to look up at this point.
Ironic.
So you hear a loud thud from behind you, Gray, as Doc, you watch this book get put on the counter, and the guy who was sitting behind the counter with the twirly mustache takes it with now gloved hands and kind of pulls it back, kind of like not trying to touch the eyes or the nose of the flesh that is the face. He begins to go through every nook and cranny of the being that is Gray. Finishes and does not note anything else with the wand.
Doc lets out a big sigh.
So the wand comes back and the light dies down. But you hear the guard that had the quote-unquote offended guard go, he kind of turns Gray around and sits Gray down on the ground now, who is bound by these 5 points, and goes, "Obviously, we've got a few questions to ask you, but my first question is, what the fuck are you doing with a spellbook ripped with necromancy and bound in the flesh of a small creature?"
Quite honestly, I'd tell you, but I sincerely doubt you'll believe me. one hell of a story. That's how I met these lot. They prefer the goblin. Halfling.
I can attest to that, actually.
He turns around and looks at you, and he looks through the bars. Constable? And the guy with the twirly mustache kind of looks through.
I don't know what this fucking thing is, but it's terrifying.
Doc will like raise her hand up, waiting for permission to speak.
Oh, sorry, Gray, were you going to say something?
Yeah, it's definitely a spell book. I believe it was. What did both say this place? The woman's name was Sharwin? Sharson? That one. One of the some wizard from the academy.
Holy shit. I rolled a nat 20. The guard in the lower left-hand corner of the room, who's holding a crossbow trained on you, says, "Are you talking about Sharwin from Bree?"
Yes.
I don't know where she's from.
She is. So if you don't mind, may I speak? I don't want to. I don't want to cause any further issues, but I do feel like we have a good explanation for this.
You hear the guard say, I went to primary school with her, and she went to the Wizards College after. I hadn't seen her since, but she was a talented wizardress when I knew her. She only knew a few cantrips, but was more magic than I ever was able to muster. I don't think she was a necromancer, though. Are you sure they're telling the truth, Constable? And the constable looks down. Now he's got these spectacles on that are just quivering on the tip of his nose.
Well, not sure. Alright, you, Gnome, go ahead, talk.
Okay, so she'll turn to the guard who knew Sharwin, and she'll say, and she'll basically put on like her doctor voice. Unfortunately, I do have bad news regarding Sharwin. She went down into outside of Bree. There's a giant crevice, if you will, I suppose.
You see them all nod, and the one guy who has been referencing Sharwin says, "Oh, you're talking about the ravine."
Yes, she went down in there to try to investigate, and unfortunately, her life was lost while she was down there. We were there, in the end, we were there, but there was some evil magic that was controlling her. One of our party members actually knew her as well, and we tried to save her. I don't know fully what happened because, to be completely honest, some of the dark magic had me so terrified that I felt compelled to run away. Not necessarily what I normally would do, but in the end, she didn't make it out. So I believe that this book, which Gray here has been carrying since then, and actually has been able to use, I believe there was a spell there that allowed us to gain some very valuable information about even what was going on down in the mines. I believe he was carrying it from her because he picked it up while we were down there. That being said, if you need to confiscate it, if it helps, then please take it. It's not something that we need, and she'll look at it and kind of like...
The constable kind of nods furiously. He says, "Oh, there's no way I can give it back to you. I mean, it's got to go straight to the temple to be burnt in the fires of Moradin. There's no way I could. I've never in my 55 years have I seen something crazy like this."
Yeah, please burn that, and in the ashes of it, burn it after it's burned.
No, I'm not really in a position, but if you turn a few pages ahead, you'll see in different handwriting some runes. I kind of need those. I wanted to ask Ronald about those.
Yeah, okay, so apparently he was using his notebook as well, but if we could have that single page, that's not a spell, but we are...
He flips a couple pages over and he goes, "Oh, that's not the same handwriting."
Right, would we be able to rip that out and potentially keep that page at least, or could I make a copy of the runes that are written down, and then you can burn those as well?
So he tears the page out of the book and he sets it to the side.
Thank you.
"I don't know what this paper's made of."
Yeah, I'll just make a copy. I do appreciate you hearing me out as well. This is a strange situation, certainly not one I expected to find myself in today. She'll kind of look over at Gray as she says that part. But I assure you, He usually has the best intentions. He's just not very good about going about things the right way.
So the constable kind of puts a hand up and he says, I really don't need to hear much more. But here's the thing. We've got a fallen angel in our city midst, who's obviously caused a little bit of a ruckus due to an anger issue with our city guardsmen, and also is in possession of a necromantic spell tome, regardless of where it came from or what we're going to do with it. This is a pretty serious situation.
I understand.
He looks at the small book, it's like a little pocket dictionary, flips open to another page. According to law, technically he should be in prison for the next 17 years because of the necromancy. There's a lot of pages in here that scream necromantic. Plus, this book was bound in flesh. That's 5 years in itself. The fact that it wasn't brought to a temple immediately to be confiscated and burned in the ashes of some holy flame, regardless of whether it was Moradin, and he points down at your chest, or Garl, or Pelor, it doesn't matter, Calerian, Lalatherian, Bahamut, it doesn't matter. The fact was, you and your friend here allowed this thing to stay in your possession, in his possession, for God knows how long.
Well, yes, I understand that. And, to be honest, the cleric that was with us before, his name was Wofer, he left. I'm pretty new to the whole cleric thing, so this is certainly a matter of ignorance. And moving forward, if anything like this were to come about, I would certainly make sure that it was taken care of. I don't know if there's anything in that book, and she'll kind of like motion to it, that, might say that ignorance allows to take off a few years, or maybe he does community service, or...
No! The law is the law. The law is the law within our dwarven society, Gnome. And I'm sorry that you and your fallen friend here, or from what I am being told, and he kind of like taps his temple, about your goblin friend and your halfling friend, about dwarven society. But the law is the law, and it stands firm. However, you, and he kind of nods down towards you, Doc, have been nothing but pleasant since you've been here. And though I accept the fault of ignorance, I cannot completely dismiss it. I think we need to keep this gentleman here for a couple of hours to sit and think on his crimes. And there will be a fine of 2,000 gold pieces. That is for the necromancy that is in your possession. Now, as far as the crime of insult to a guardsman, he looks over at the guardsman who was insulted, and he kind of squints. You have brought 6 prisoners in this week, all that were not of dwarven bloodline, under the false flag that they had offended you in some way, shape, or form. Maybe, methinks, there is a translation issue, or maybe a personal grudge that you bear against those who do not run with the dwarves' blood. Is this maybe something that we can delve into a little bit more, my friend? Kind of looks over and he says, Constable, are you serious? His eyebrows go up. The guardsman kind of looks down and he says, he does not cough, sorry. I'm sick. He says, it had nothing to do with his race. It had everything to do with the fact that he opened his fucking mouth when he shouldn't have. The constable goes, very well then. 8 gold piece fine. So 2,008 gold pieces will process you. Mr. I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name. And he kind of points down towards you, Gray.
Gray. I can pay that if you check in my float pad, this little black ball. Toss that on the ground.
Very well. The guardsman walks around, he rummages around, and then you hear him audibly say, ugh! as he pulls the portable hole out and throws it onto the floor, and then he unfolds it into the full circle, and he starts to look through it. As he reaches in, he begins to shovel out fistfuls of coin. Now, how do you want to pay it? Because I see you have 93 plat and 893 gold.
I guess I'll just take it.
Jesus Christ, was that really 1/4 of the loot that you guys had, Candace?
Yep.
Fuck.
I just looked. We each have like 90 plat, 770 gold.
It's a lot of cash.
It's a lot of cash. It was a lot of cash.
Yeah, it was a lot of cash. All right, so anyway, sorry. What I was seeing though, Lucy, is that even with so even with all of your plat and all of your gold, you have 1823. Plus an additional 231. There it is. Okay. So you have, so that's 2,054 gold. So if you drop all of your plat, all of your gold, you will have 46, I believe 46, hang on, no, that's not right. 460 silver pieces left. Because everything's done in multiple of tens. Am I right about that, or am I doing my math crazy? Also, you're muted. I can't hear you.
How much silver do I have left?
460 silver. So you 0 plat, 0 gold, and 460 silver, and then you've got all your copper. I didn't even touch that.
Yeah, it should be up now.
So this dwarf endlessly shovels. I mean, it takes literally 25 fucking minutes as he shovels out, and by the end of it, his hair is sweating and dripping. His beard is literally soaked and dripping water off of it as he's shoveling this coin out. And you see the eyes of every dwarf in here are just like very, what the fuck is this? So, he gets to the end of it. He counts it out. He goes, 2006, 2007, 2008. Oh, shit. Constable, I think we've got it all. And he folds the little hole up, puts it back in the into the backpack, and begins to wheel it out of the room. The constable, wide-eyed, says,
All right, we'll process you. We'll get you in and out, and we will ensure that this tome gets to the temple for proper religious whatever they do up there. I don't know.
And he had that page ripped out, right, off to the side.
He does.
Can Doc feel it to see if it actually feels like paper?
Oh, you're walking up to and you're reaching through his
Well, I was
iron
gonna
bars.
ask. I didn't know where it was at.
Oh, it's behind. The man is separated by an iron bars.
Would I be able to either make the copy or have those, and I can give an explanation if you'd like further information, but that is very crucial to what we are currently working on.
What notes were you taking in that, Lucy? Was it just
It
notes
was
about the
the-
Nolthraxian stuff?
It was the very it was both the notes on that. It was also the runes on the airship itself that crashed.
Ah, gotcha. So he'll kind of like turn it towards you and go, "What are these?" And he kind of points to the runes. He says, I don't understand this, but yes, I see the notes you're taking. I don't understand it necessarily, but if it's important to you."
Yeah, if you don't mind. And then if he's like sliding the paper to her, then she would kind of feel it first to see if it feels like paper.
Make a nature check.
It's a 3.
You have no fucking clue. Feels weird, though.
She's gonna look really grossed out. Okay, so like take it up like this and then put it into her.
He says, "Oh, no," he snatches it out of your hand. "I didn't say you could take it.
Oh.
I'm asking you, what are these runes?"
Oh, so it's a really difficult story to explain.
I don't
but
care about the story. What the hell are these runes?
I can't. I don't know what they translate to. I just know that they're important based off of some
break it down for me. Where did you get these runes? What were they from?
Okay, so a little bit of story. So there was a interplanar ship that crashed, I guess you could
He
call
he
it.
nods in complete understanding. Okay, something from
Yeah.
the deep space, from dark space.
And these were on there, and so in order for us to try to complete a mission we're on regarding that crashed ship, we need these runes in the notes.
Okay, that's all you had to tell me. He rolls it up, ties a little black ribbon on it, and scoots it over to you.
Thank you. She'll take it and ugh, put it in her backpack.
It's probably flesh.
Yeah.
Didn't surprise me.
Okay, so he looks out and he says, "Go ahead and bring him back for processing, and you're free to go."
She'll Doc will kind of like smile at him and say, "I really do appreciate that. Thank you. All of that, really, because I know it could have gone very different."
He smiles sweetly and he kind of like leans over with his chin resting on his wrist, and he says, in Gnomish, he says, "Sweetheart, pull your friend back from the shadow. It's clear he's gotten himself into a predicament that is capable of drawing all of you into shadow with him. You didn't need to pay this kind of gold. This kind of gold could have paid the wages of every guardsman we have here for a year and a half. It's insanity. Don't be dumb."
In Gnomish, she'll say back, "Between just you and me, I'm trying."
He smiles and he winks almost at your nugget around your neck, and he says, "That's a girl." And he kind of pats his own chest, tightens up his tunic, and begins to process paperwork.
She'll give the counter a little pat, and then I'm assuming she's standing up on a stool or something, so she'll hop down and then. Head
He's
out.
a dwarf. It's not a very tall
Oh,
counter.
that's true. Yeah.
Everything is
tiptoes.
very small people here.
But she'll pat the counter and she'll say, "Thanks again. God will be with you," and turn and head out.
Okay, so you leave. Gray, you are brought into the back room. You're just sat in a small holding cell as paperwork and signatures are being gathered. There's really not much more to it than that.
Yeah, I think there's gonna be like there's not much, but I think Gray to himself will kind of be like he'll be whistling mainly, some kind of tune. I don't know what, but I think he'll think
That goblin ditty, you
absolutely
heard?
it's the goblin. Yeah, it's something pale ale or something like that.
Hell yeah.
Stale for ale.
Yeah, that one. While also thinking to himself, while looking at the manacles and stuff, man, it's been a long time since I've seen these.
Doc would head back to the house of the dwarf Odin.
So as you're sitting there over the course of the next couple of hours, you see a few fleeting shadows creep up and around the bars in the room with you, cast from the torches that are in the hallway just in front of you. And as one of the shadows manifests, you hear, Gray, you hear,
"Here we are again, Mr. Gray. I'm not entirely sure what you thought you were going to get out of that little encounter. But you truly do need to watch your tongue around those who are inferior to your own grace."
and with that, the shadows slink back into pools of blackness and fade. All right, going back to the tavern. So Ree has been watching this conversation with Aurora. Aurora, you've just finished this conversation. This dwarf man has stood up. What are you doing?
Sorry, the dwarf said that he was willing to go to talk to the guards to help Gray, correct?
No, he was
Oh, he
willing
was
to go
willing to
talk
go
to
talk.
Gray to re-educate.
That was okay. Well, we're not going to be able to get access to him at the moment because he's going to be doing processing stuff.
He actually looks surprised as you say that. And in Dwarven, he says, I mean, you're right. We're not going to be able to get in there and do anything, at least until he's processed and back here. You and your friends told me that he is, that he's going to be performing tonight. You want me to have a conversation afterwards, or are you going to be here tomorrow? Maybe I can sit down and have a little chat with him. I can guarantee I'll be back at a certain time, at a certain table, here within this very room. Maybe this one.
She'll sigh. Yeah, probably in the morning. A bit of education about the way the world works would be probably much needed.
I'll do everything I can. I'll be here at, let's say, 8 o'clock sharp tomorrow morning. If you follow the sundial, I'll be here then. I'll be in this seat. I won't have any of my friends here with me, but I'll have a couple of cups of tea, and I'll have a couple of scones or biscuits or whatever being served for breakfast.
I appreciate you taking the time. It would be delightful to not have to have this conversation time and time again.
He smiles and says, as he kind of nods backwards, it's an obligation, not a favor.
Doesn't mean I can't appreciate it.
He kind of smiles at you again, and he reaches down, and he reaches down with his face, almost kind of like comes down to your level and just says, you are a beautiful creature. Don't ever let anybody tell you anything less than that. Do you understand me? I've seen many of your folk belittled and pushed away from societies of the taller folk. But you, in specific, you are a gem. And then he switches to halfling and he says, I sense your power. I know what you are. And I thank you for your presence, White Dragon.
She looks very, very thrown off. Does not even, manage to shove it down in the usual, her way. She just looks completely just thrown off and just looks at him in just utter, non-comprehension. But
You,
she
he-
will...
you hear from the woman in the back, will you stop fucking chattering in halfling? oh, sorry. Sorry, Griselda. I'll be here in the morning, as promised, and you have your friend meet me and we'll have a discussion about Dwarven Society.
She does not trust herself to speak, so she's going to nod and then go back to the table after stopping by the tavern keep and getting more fire belly.
Oh, fuck yeah, he pours it out of a... There's a... stupid... goddamn upper respiratory infection. Sorry, I started coughing. He's got a huge black cask now mounted to the wall, which was not here 4 days ago when you guys got here. But with all of the events that are popping up, he's like, yo, I'm going to be selling a lot of liquor when this shit hits the fan. And there's a big cask on the wall. I mean, huge, full-sized, barrel, 55-gallon drum on the wall. And it's got a tap in it. And he pours the fire belly straight into a little shot glass for you. And he puts a second one down. He says, I'm quite confident you can drink both of these and have no problem whatsoever, little mistress. Enjoy yourself.
Yeah, that was... And obviously not saying this. That was before my con just took... Oh, yeah, she's gonna down both of them without pausing.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, yeah.
Well, go ahead and give me Constitution saving throw ×2.
Yep, but I do get advantage on that.
You have
Because
advantage on
you're
con
poison.
saving throws? Oh.
Yes. Yeah, 'cause- yes.
I was like, why the fuck do you get... Oh, that's right, you're that thing.
That's your fault.
It is my fault, honestly. I mean, I accept that. I refute it in the name of Moradine, but I accept it.
Well,
back to
except
the
for the
grove
name
now,
of
right?
Carla.
Slow dice are slow.
First one, oh no.
Oh, that's not good.
Can I still go for the second, knowing this is going to be horrible?
You are still standing, and the only reason why I'm saying you're still standing is because your level of sorcerer giving you your constitution saving throw bonus is the only thing keeping you up. As you pound the first one, you feel flame rip down your esophagus. It ignites your sinuses. You literally feel steam as if it were you took a cold ice cube in your mouth and breathed out like, you know, a little bit of condensation, a little bit of frost, but it is actual physical hot. As it goes down, you feel it coat your stomach, and then you bend over ever so slightly and let out an audible "oh" as it hits you. You are immediately, I mean within 2 seconds, buzzed, but you grab that second shot. Whoosh.
Yeah, so Meepo doesn't like fire. We're learning things.
We are learning things.
Okay.
Much better. So the second one goes down way smoother than the first. As it hits your belly, you feel the second coat kind of hit your stomach lining. Your whole your whole body grows very, very warm momentarily. And then it settles. As it settles, you are intoxicated. You are not drunk, you are not shit-faced or blackout drunk, but you are legitimately intoxicated after those 2 shots within that very short amount of time, and you find yourself back to wherever it is you're going.
Wonderful. Then I am going to get 2 more for Ree, and then I'm going to go back to the table.
So, Ree, you've been watching this whole thing unfold. You see Aurora finish her conversation with the dwarf guy. He sits back down. She beeline straight to the tavern keeper. The tavern keeper pulls 2 shots of fire belly. He sets him down. She shoots one, leans over and goes, ugh, and then shoots the second one. And you see her kind of start to stumble a little bit. Then she points at him and says a couple things. He pours 2 more. She picks both up, one in each hand, and starts to wobble them back to the table and sets them down in front of you.
So, did the conversation go well? I'm gonna guess no.
I mean, well, if you think it was going to go. Those are for you. Drink up. It's going to be a long-ass day.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we'll take the 2 back to back.
All right. Goddamn. If it's not doing shrooms, we're drinking fire belly. Give me 2 constitution saving throws.
I didn't get to help or to partake in this room, so I lost time.
That is true. So the first one goes down with ease. You throw it back, and you audibly think to yourself, I ain't no bitch. You pound that fucking thing, and as it hits, you feel the flame coat your esophagus, hit your stomach, and coat your stomach lining. You're not even buzzed yet. You feel good. It's nice and warm. You like warm. Warm is good.
Warm is good.
It's cold where Ree comes from.
Xavier, I wasn't ready for that.
Oh, a nat 20.
Are you sure this is fire belly?
You pound the second one, slam it down, and you like stare her in the eyes, and she is starting to fucking wobble in her seat, and you don't feel shit. You feel like warm, but it's like you had just drank some Kahlua with coffee. You're like, what? What is this?
I'm getting Ree more then.
Alright.
I know full well that it's like 10 in the morning at the moment. I'm getting Ree more.
Okay, so you stumble back up to the bar. Tavern Keep's like, is there something I can do for you?
She didn't even feel it. She needs more. A lot more.
He kind of glances up and over your shoulder and looks back as Ree's just sitting there fine as a fiddle. Oh, you wanted the big glass. Give me one moment. He turns around. You see him pull, not a shot glass, but like a teacup. And fucking fill the teacup full of this hard fireball level whiskey up and set it down. Now, I'm going to tell you this right now. If she drinks all of that, there's a chance she could shit herself and puke all over the floor. But I've seen her constitution prove itself day in and day out, so you're welcome to try.
If she does, I'll pay for the cleanup. And then she's gonna grab the glass and try very hard not to spill it and go back to Ree.
Make a dexterity check.
So,
Two hands, Mitch.
Yep, just flat dexterity.
what is with my dice?
Oh no. So she stumbles fucking hard in the first 3 steps and spills about a quarter of it, but she catches herself. And she walks back over and she sets it down in front of you. It is a full teacup, about 5 ounces worth of Fire Belly.
Like, why are you trying to get me drunk? I mean, I'll drink it, but
Because we have to deal with jail and prison systems again, and if we're gonna fucking get killed and come back as something we're not, we're gonna do it drunk. Now, if you're not gonna drink it, I am.
you're not gonna drink this. I want to drink it. This will kill you. You're already falling over. Give me that.
I
Okay.
did not fall, and you know that.
So Ree begins to chug. As Ree chugs, you literally, Aurora, you see and you are confident in your sight, steam pour like if have you ever seen what is it, the fucking dry ice when you hit it with water? You see that level of steam pouring out of her fucking ears and onto her shoulders. Give me a Constitution saving throw at disadvantage, because that's a lot of liquor.
More
There
dogs
it
are
is.
gonna come back.
That liquor gonna make you sicker. All right. So as it goes down, Ryu slam the teacup down. The teacup fucking shatters. Just you kind of look around, and for a moment you're like, "Oh, it is too hot in here." Like you look down, assuming you are on fire. Thank goodness you are not on fire. But all of a sudden, as you look over at Aurora, your vision goes double, and then it splits into 4, and she begins to kind of hover in this weird pattern back and forth as you feel yourself intoxicated.
Yeah, that one did it. That one did it.
There we go. Now we can deal with this shit.
What did they say to you? Were they ready to?
Oh, the pub is. She'll look back as if she's actually paying enough attention so he can hear. But she's gonna catch herself. He's going to have a conversation with our Miss Gray tomorrow and teach him how the world works so that he can stop doing that shit. You have to know when to hold your bowstring. You don't always fire. Sometimes it's a person and it's not actually a dwarf, you know?
I was just gonna say, I'm pretty sure, like, you of all people need to learn that lesson more than he does. But I see what you mean. I see what you mean.
Because you if you're shooting for the dwarf, you don't want to accidentally shoot the half-orc or the centaur. If you shoot the centaurs, they get very, very upset with you.
Or the goblin shaman.
I mean, they if you shoot the goblin shaman, they just kind of die.
Well, no. Remember, you shot the goblin shaman, and she didn't die. We kept.
Oh, God.
Almost died.
No, I don't remember, but you know, that's okay.
It's okay. We're just fine. Just. Do you think they're gonna hang him?
No, probably not. I'm pretty sure he's too slippery for a noose.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
I wonder if they're just gonna shine a really bright light at him.
What the fuck?
Whoa, that.
Be gone, darkness.
You think that would work? You think just like shine a really bright light on him, and that'll make him not all anymore?
You know, I could probably test that. I think I know how to do that now. And she's going to reach for it and touch one of the teacup shards and cast light on it.
Yeah, so Aurora kind of like nonchalantly reaches over and like touches this teacup shard, and as she does so, there's like this really it spooks you because you're not used to hearing something like this out of Aurora. But there's like as she touches it, she begins to trace this little thing with like this little really nasty draconic nailed finger, this little rune on it, and as she touches it, you hear her, she's like, and as she finishes, the whole thing illuminates like fucking crazy. This bright blue light, like this icy blue light.
Wow, yeah, it's bright as fuck. Do you think that would do it?
I mean, we could probably try it.
Maybe like.
Or they can try it. I don't know. Whoever's gonna try it to make him be less shadowy and like everything is gloom and doom and all of that.
Bright as fuck, boy.
So maybe if like 12 people did that spell, that booyah, and then blasted him all at the same time, I think like maybe he'll like rid himself of like the shadowy. Yeah, I think that would work. I don't see any problem with that.
Right? It would work really well. Either that or he'll go blind, but you know, small price to pay.
So at this point, you guys see the tavern keeper approach very quickly, and he kind of like he comes down to your level, like kind of kneels over like the table, and he goes, "I'm sorry to interrupt your fun, but could you please stop screaming in the middle of the tavern about shadows and dragons and oh yes, please keep it just look, the tavern is actually about to close, so we can prepare the stage for tonight's story. Would you mind, please, I mean no respect, seeing yourself to your room and continue this conversation there?"
I probably should get some air. I might take my lightning goat out for a ride. I just had a couple drinks. I'm gonna take my lightning goat out for a ride.
You are not.
Please let me
No, you know better than that.
Literally don't.
Well, you do now.
I literally don't. Take an inspiration point. I'm sorry, but I literally don't is the truest thing that has ever been said in a D&D campaign. You literally don't. You don't know that. That's awesome.
Okay, fine. I won't take my lightning goat.
I literally.
She'll bolt up the door and bring out Trissa.
You see.
I'm going with. I want to see if I can. I'm helping.
So, okay, do this. Why don't... Okay, so Ree begins to fucking run, and Ree, unfortunately, is way fucking faster than you are. Yeah, very fast. So Ree bolts out the door. You begin to run. Make an acrobatics check for me, Cat, as you need to hurl the stage that is currently being built.
Is there any chance that I am...
Nope, there was a almost full 30-minute conversation that happened.
Stage at me?
Hey, you know, I got this. I'm going with.
So you leap over the barriers that are holding the stage hands at bay and people at bay from the stage. You leap over it, clear as day. Boof! Bust out the door. As you bust out the door, Josa is already summoned, and Ree is intoxicatedly pulling herself up onto the back of it.
Let's go. Let's fucking ride.
Fuck yeah. Should we tell Doc? Yeah, she'll find us.
I mean, you can't sneak out of this town on Josa. She doesn't let that happen. Let's go, Josa.
And Josa, I mean, as you were like, "Let's go, Josa," and she fucking begins to take off in her crazy lightning speed.
On Joseph,
Yes,
no
perfectly.
problem, right?
Yep, absolutely. Now, as that's happening, Doc, you have just stepped out of the jail, and as you are rounding the corner, the building corner of the jail, and walking back towards the house with the door floored in, you see, right about here, charging towards the iron mine, the very familiar lightning zigzag of Josa.
Doc stops.
You are muted.
Oh, really? Thank you.
Yep.
Doc stops, looks at a non-existent watch, and goes, "It wasn't my day, was it?" All right. Which direction were they headed?
north, straight at the fucking iron mine. But you see the lightning bolt kind of like dash to the east and behind the garden, and then as you watch the mountain, you see this little lightning goat up the mountain.
Her shoulders will slump a little bit, and she'll just head toward the fucking inn. I'm not even gonna try to catch that thing.
Okay, so you walk back towards the inn. You enter the inn. You go in and you sit down at the table that you guys were just at. And the tavern keep is cleaning up the mess. You can smell Firebelly as soon as you walk in the door. As you walk in, the tavern keeper is sweeping off busted pieces of teacup off of your guys' table, and kind of looks up. 1 hour. So one of those pieces, though, is glowing this vibrant blue, and you see him almost weeping, sweeping off your table and shaking his head into this wastebasket, and he sees you coming, and his eyes go wide, and he goes, "Tell me you don't want Firebelly as well."
No, but I think I need a bath.
"We can do a bath if you'd like, but please no more Firebelly."
Can I help you clean?
"No, that's not what I'm paid for."
Okay, a bath, please. Yeah, token. No.
He kind of points towards the right hand side of the room, and he says, "You've been the only decent one since you've shown up. Your friends and you. Here." And he reaches into his pocket and he pulls a small wooden token out. "This bath is on me. Enjoy yourself."
Thank you very much. I think I've got about 2 hours. All right. Thank you. She'll head towards the bath. She's almost in the same trance as the poor innkeeper.
All right, so
I mean, I imagine Ree would pretty much just take Josa up to like the top of the mountain, and then kind of like come back around and make it back towards the inn, if unless Aurora had something or anything.
She would. Part of it would be just trying to, keep her cookies where they belong. We don't need those hurled. And
actually, since we're talking about that, go ahead and give me a Constitution saving throw, Aurora and Ree, because you both failed at some point.
This
My
is
inspiration,
flat
please.
roll.
What was that, Aurora?
It's just a flat roll, right?
Yeah, flat roll for you, but advantage for Ree since she's rolling with advantage for the inspiration. 15 is perfect. Yep, actually 15 was the DC. So, yep, no problem whatsoever. As you both begin to dodge up. So, Ree is very clearly riding and doing the steering on Josa. As Josa begins to leap from peak to peak. Both of you are holding on for dear fucking life. Like, if this thing stops, we're done. A couple of points get a little bit hairy, and then at one point she stops. Josa stops, full bore, and both of you kind of like bounce off of the top of Josa's horns, and you feel the Firebelly roll back up into your esophagus. But
Oh no!
you take a deep breath, you swallow. And it's like it never happened.
Please don't puke on my back.
And that's where you find yourselves, at the top of the ridge.
She does say at some point going up, I think that it might have been, I've never even ridden a horse before. But, might have been something about, she might have said centaur instead. She might have been dipping between languages,
So you see Josa's head kind of like spin around almost like an owl 360 to look at you like she's about to lick her back.
It's a little unnerving.
She says,
You say I stink? You all smell like cinnamon!
Yeah, that's really all I can smell right now too.
I stopped being able to smell after the first shot, Is this where the ogre is?
Wait, what?
I don't know where he was. You guys went out riding and found him.
Oh yeah, no, he's like way down south by where I landed inside another ogre. Remember that bridge fight? And I punched him in the head.
I'm pretty sure you should be telling the stories. In fact, you know, if he doesn't get out of jail, you're gonna have to tell the stories tonight. You know that, right?
Oh fuck.
I second that. Reese telling the story.
Ah shit. No, I can't tell a story. I can't be up in front of people.
Why not? You've literally jumped over a fire salamander that was being hugged by a dwarf in order to attack a room full of other goblins that might not have actually happened like that. I don't know. It's not important. The point is you would, and we all know that.
Master, that sounds pretty crazy. You really jump over a dwarf?
Did
Oh
I?
wait, you jump over the salamander. What'd you jump over? You jumping? You jump, I jump. Here we go.
And Joseph begins to switch back down the mountain. Bop, 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 bop. Back into town. When she hits town, she begins to do fucking laps around the Temple of Garl Glittergold, Ronald's Runesmithy, Temple of Mordine, Stables, Jail, House of the Dwarf Lord.
Oh, we should say sorry to the temple for the flower thing while we're here.
Oh, yeah, that's a good call. I like that. Yeah. And yeah, we will try to find the nearest clergy person. I say sorry. I kind of mushed some flowers. Can I like fix it? I don't know how this works.
No, we'll talk to them and we'll say sorry if we need to, and then we'll figure things out. Everything will be fine. You've got your gold block on your side. It'll be good. What could possibly go wrong?
Jail can go wrong.
So as you pull over near the Temple of Mordine, and you you do pull over, right? I mean, that's what pretty much you're riding this motherfucker. So you pull over near the Temple of Mordine. You do see there's a clergy member outside, and you kind of like, hey, I'm sorry about pulling your blue flowers out. And he kind of looks up at you with wide eyes, and he's like, what is that thing? And he points straight at Josa.
Ah, that's my lightning goat.
Lightning goat?
Yeah, name's Joseph. Say hi, Joseph. There she is.
And you hear he's ah! Are you interested in bartering for your lightning goat? I have much.
No.
I would very much like to purchase your lightning goat, dear
No.
friend.
No.
Where did you get her? Cause he could go over there and he could get her done.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
her, not her.
I got Joseph from the Garl temple over there.
Yes, we've been trying to barter that goat for years now, but I didn't realize it was infused with lightning. I'd happily give you 3,000 gold pieces for it, paid in platinum, flat out, if you'd be interested.
Oh no, I'm sorry. No sale. Thank you. Thank you. Have a good day.
3,500.
Nope. No, I don't know how much. If that's more or less. Oh, we're going now.
3,750. As you begin to jolt off, and Joseph, and you hear Joseph as you're running say,
Thank you for not selling me, Master. I don't want to be back in the hands of these dirty fucking dwarves.
Yeah, I wouldn't sell you for the world, babe. Don't worry about it.
The world, that was like, we could have probably gotten 5,000 in we need to talk money. We need to teach you about money.
I don't even know how much for her.
I don't think I want to know where things would get very bad very quickly.
that's like returning a Christmas gift. No, that's like returning a Christmas gift after the holiday season when it goes back up to full price and you try to get full price for it. With no receipt. Yeah, I'll take in-store credit. Just give me it at full price. That's fine. Okay, so you guys lightning bolt back to the House of the Dwarf Lord Inn. Now, as this whole thing has transpired, Lucy, you have been booked. You go through your processing. There's not much as far as processing is concerned for you, except for a lot of signatures on a lot of paperwork. that is quite frankly just dwarven jargon and bullshit saying, you know, you did this, you acknowledge you did this, you acknowledge you had this, you can't do this anymore, and you will be nice to the guards, and you will not carry fucking necromantic books on you while within city limits. And that's all they give a shit about. In order to... Oh, go ahead.
I'd like to say that as he goes through like things he won't do, he'll go, I'll do that again, not here, do that again, not here, maybe not, do that.
And they kind of like nudge you and go, well, we can keep you here for another 5 hours if you'd like.
No, he's thinking that to himself. That's
Thinking. Okay, sorry. Gotcha. So the booking process completes and you are released. They literally open the door, take you out of clasps, out of chains, and they send you back into the world. We will say that at this point, it is probably about 5:15 in the afternoon, 5:30, and you know that your performance is in the next, like, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, depending on how the house fills.
Well, he's booking it.
All right, so you book it. Doc, what have you been doing in the last, we'll say, hour? Because this whole thing has transpired over the course of a couple hours.
So Doc would have done a bath.
Okay, you did you went down, the bath was set for you, no problem whatsoever. Everything was beautifully arranged. Bubble bath, lavender, all that.
Awesome. So she would have gotten dressed in clean clothes, gone upstairs and waited for the other two to show back up after their joyride. And once they did, well, I guess I can roll for that.
Yeah, so we'll say about 5 o'clock. Aurora, and Josa all show back up outside of the house of the Dwarf Lord Inn.
Yeah, I would have been waiting outside. So as they show back up,
and you watch them. The lightning bolt is no bullshit. You see them doing circles around all the buildings. They stop at the Temple of Mordine, and then they do a couple circles around the house of the Dwarf Lord, and then they stop. Poof! And Josa's like,
Master, I need rest. I'm not gonna do this.
Doc will give her a little pat on the nose.
I still have some cheese in my pouch. I'm going to start the cheese.
Oh, that's a good cheese.
All right, Joseph. Back to your restful state there. Yep.
and you see her turn into the little ivory figure.
Oh god, they're gonna hang him, aren't they?
No. No. He got a timeout. He's a broke bitch, though. You're gonna have to buy him his food for like the next 2 years. And honestly, he probably would have been hanged if it wasn't for me being there. So. Also, I checked. Today was not my day.
Day for what?
To babysit everybody.
Yeah, but we kind of always do. You're kind of like the mom of the group, you know.
Excuse you, I was
think that's a bad thing.
all
It's a good thing.
You shot one of your children in the throat. You have never been a mom.
Can you honestly say that you wouldn't want to some days? You wouldn't, but...
No, there's a difference between wanting to lock them in a closet and actually doing it, though.
My mom used to lock me in a cage every once in a while.
Aww.
Yeah,
She'll give me a hug.
We already had this conversation about sometimes you just have to lock grandma in a cage.
Oh boy. Speaking of,
It was one of my trusty quotes.
he should be free any minute. But he really did have to use like all of his money. Because they found the, I honestly forgot about it, they found the gross book on him, and that cost a pretty penny.
He brought that to breakfast?
Apparently it's his favorite item, but now it's ashes.
Why would he bring a gross Facebook to breakfast? That
You-
you could lose your
Why did he have a
appetite.
gross Facebook with him in bed? It's a very good question, but regardless of that, it is gone now. And all of its usefulness. I forgot how useful that thing actually was, but it's fine.
So about this time, you guys see about 150 yards from you to the southwest, Gray walking back towards you, unshackled, unmanacled, just kind of nonchalantly moving towards you rapidly.
Dak will finish her thought and just say, Ryu and I need to have a chat at some point.
Oh no, not another chat.
Not that kind of chat.
No, okay. All right, good.
Not
Then
for you, at least.
Ryu will run over and give a little hug around the knees. They're gonna hang ya.
Oh, they did. I'm actually a ghost now.
Holy fucking shit! Really?
No.
He's lying.
You see the goblin runes start to pulse vibrantly.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I've punched a ghost before, so I don't know.
I am pale, but I'm not that pale.
All right.
No, I do need to quickly go gag guys. Wipe as much shackled chain as I can.
I'll leave it on. It adds to the story.
It's more
You
me
have
just
to-
covering it up.
You have to include that part in the story now. You know that,
I
right?
am absolutely not gonna. Or if I do, it's gonna make a very angry merchant.
I think the merchant would be
whatever.
fine, but that guard might be angry.
I have no problem with the guards. He was a bit sensitive, though. Not my problem.
He was a bit racist.
Honestly, that wouldn't surprise me either. I get half of that from temples.
You get that from everywhere.
I do get that from everywhere.
Doc actually, for a split second, Gray would notice, especially since he's got the perception he does, there's like a look of pity, not pity, but almost like a empathy look. Just for a second, and then she catches herself and washes away.
Gray, being Gray, is gonna poke at it and go, "Ah, it's so," and very overly dramatic, go, "It's so painful sometimes."
Yeah, okay. Don't you have
Take
to
your
show-
inspiration point, Gray.
I already have him.
Well, never mind. Fuck you and your
I'll
inspiration
take it.
point.
Don't
No, you won't.
have don't you have a show starting in now?
Yeah, going.
All right.
What do they say about but before you go on shows like caps?
I'd rather not break.
I think it's break your face.
Okay, break your face.
My face is my best feature, thank you.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
The only good thing I got going for me. He doesn't say that.
A money maker.
Shake, shake, shake your money maker. All right. So, you all enter the house of the Dwarf Lord Inn. As you do so, you realize that this place is, first of all, there are 10 guards strapped to the teeth in full plate mail, shields, and spears standing outside of the venue. As they see you approach, they stand to the side and allow you in. There's a black curtain directly in front of you as you enter, with a little space to go around it. But as you enter, you see this. Welcome to your packed fucking house.
Oh damn.
All right, give me a sec here. You should have control of your characters. There are easily over 100 people inside of the tavern at this point. As you enter, the tavern keeper rushes to the stage, looking at Gray expectantly. I didn't think you're going to arrive. Usually you show up half an hour before you were supposed to. I'm sorry. Excuse me,
Yeah, he was arrested.
Mr. Gray. Are you ready to perform? On the stage, by the way, you do see the large cloth draped shape of the tooth that you had left up there earlier.
In that case, Gray's gonna go. He's gonna push up to like the sleeves on his coat just a little bit, and go as ready as I'll ever be.
He says, "Then, my friend, the stage is yours. Make us money." And he starts to walk back towards the bar as everybody in the room, aristocrats, guardsmen, commoners, farmers, peasants, businessmen, everybody from every walk of life is in this tavern right now, ready to listen to this tale.
Okay. I guess he'll go on stage and kind of make sure everything's right, just for like a minute or two, on his instruments and everything.
Okay,
Just
sure.
as everyone quiets down. Whoa, I wasn't ready for that.
Give me a sec. Hang on, I fucked up.
One thing I do want to clarify is I do have put up, and I am going to be hugging a fucking wall and trying not to freak out at the sheer amount of fucking dwarves that are in this room.
So, and to give you, actually, I'm glad that you said the sheer amount of dwarves that are in this room, because I have notes on that. So, the population in this room is about 85% dwarf. 10% is gnome. 2% is human, 2% is halfling, 1% is what we would call mixed, and that is just a spattering of everybody else. Lots of fucking dwarves, though. Okay, so Gray approaches the stage, stands up on the stage, begins to tune instruments, make sure that everything is taut and tight and ready to roll, and Gray, you have the stage.
Okay, before that, can I make like a... I don't know if I need to make a check or something. But, are dwarves like particularly, I guess, proud of their military? A jail system, I guess.
Of their justice system,
That
you don't need to make a check for that. Dwarves are notoriously proud and dedicated to their system of law and judgments.
Gray's gonna probably hop on the stage and go, as he hops on, he's gonna go, "Sorry I'm late. I found out the hard way the dwarf system is 10 times better than a human one."
Make a performance check. That fucking guy. Okay, was that off the cuff or did you have that planned?
Oh, that was off the cuff.
That's awesome. Oh, fuck.
Nice.
There is an audible laugh from the audience as you see the first probably 25 or 30 people in front of you bend over and scream with laughter as they obviously heard it and slap the table and then start to pound more ale.
So, as they quiet down, Gray who has both of his drums on him, is gonna put like his big drum in front of him.
Okay, that's the war drum.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then he's gonna take out his little hand drum. And he's gonna just start, I guess, lightly tapping on that. Just slow light taps for now.
Okay. As you do so, as you begin to just start with the slow light taps, Gray, you see in the far southeastern corner of the room a small spiral of shadow begin to form and spin upward toward the ceiling, from the ground to the ceiling. It feels comforting to you. Nobody else seems to notice it.
Smart. Is there anything else?
Nope, go ahead.
And then as he starts tap, he's still standing for now. I don't know if there's like a chair or something on stage. He probably would have asked for just like a small stool.
Yeah, absolutely. They would have happily provided a small stool.
So for now, he's still standing. He's going to start slowly walking over to the tooth, and he's going to go, Now, you've all come here for a story, so I won't hold you up any longer, and I'll get right into it. Then he's gonna go, yeah, okay, so then he's gonna start, walk forward, he's gonna say, all right, so first things first, here comes a reference. In a grove not too long ago, in a grove not so far away, is where we'll find our heroes. Now, every story has some heroes. Ours are, and he's gonna start off casting Minor Illusion at 3rd level. Major Illusion, not Minor.
I was gonna say you're gonna cast a cantrip at fucking 3rd level. How are you gonna do that?
It's Major Image, not Minor Illusion.
Okay. So you cast Major Image.
Then this is what I asked you about last week, where it's like in front of him, in smaller but like still fitting within 20 feet, is gonna be these 5 figures that'll appear. Is what I'm gonna try and do.
Yes.
It's gonna be Bofur, Doc, Ree, and Gray.
Okay, go ahead and give me a performance check.
I'm going to use inspiration on this because this is good.
Understood. Oh, fuck. Wow, that is great. So, as Gray begins to manifest this magic, you see the images of these 4 adventurers project forward from him. He almost seems to fade into the black curtain that is behind him, almost as if he is just a narrator to the story, a faceless image, a shadow, telling the tales of what is happening before him. Gray, you may progress.
He's gonna go. Now allow me to introduce, and I guess it'll be lining up with Bofur, Ree, Doc, Aurora, and then himself. So he's gonna start from Bofur and go, this oddly shaven dwarf right here is a great companion of ours by the name of Bofur. He is a valuable ally and a cleric of Moradin. I'm sure many of you, as I've heard, some of you follow Moradin here as well, by the great. And he is very much a great shield that protects us from damage, as well as channeling the fury and wrath of Moradin. Next, we have our lovable little goblin, Ree. Honestly, probably one of my favorites. As you've seen, as she is right over there. He's gonna point directly at Ree.
Where you see this little hand pop through the shadows. God.
And he's gonna say, Bofur may be a shield, but by damn, when it comes to pure strength, Ree is probably the strongest creature I know. Easily.
Strong as fuck, boy.
Exactly. Strong as fuck. And will always be. And he's kind of like, the tapping of the drum is kind of sped up at like this point as he starts introducing them. And I'd like to think that the figurines themselves have like a little, like in a game, if you click on a character, it has like a little animation.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, your performance check, they are moving exactly like that. Just kind of like, oh yeah.
For Bofur, it's kind of like he holds his shield out and then like puts his, I think he had an axe at the time.
He did.
Yeah. Puts his axe in the sky and it starts to kind of like glow holy light for a bit and then it goes back down. Fades and goes back down. Ree kind of flexes and just roars. And he's gonna go, she's able to shrug off any damage, despite being a little bit hairier when she does so. Also, her rage is unmatched. He then moves over to Doc, who will probably do some, at the time she's just a rogue, so he's gonna do some cool like spinning flips with her daggers, throwing them up and catching them again. We have our gnome Doc. not gonna bother saying the full name because it's also very long. She is extremely, not just a doc and a great healer, having brought me back from the brink of death many times. Is also very effective with these knives and with pinpoint precision accuracy can dispatch most foes while they focus on Ree and Bofer. Next, and then it's going to point to Aurora, who at the time is not white. And her animation is just basically the typical shooting one arrow, jumping back, and then shooting another. Sorry,
Okay.
I don't know stuff for Rangers.
That's actually really good.
That's pretty.
As you can imagine, her accuracy with a bow is, well, razor sharp. Trust me, I felt it once or twice myself.
Make a performance check.
That was like a 2, so it's
Okay.
an 11.
All right, got it. So you're feeling the audience kind of like captivated, and as you're like over explaining these characters, you feel yourself kind of losing them. They're not jeering or booing or anything, but you feel yourself just slightly starting to lose them.
Then he'll keep on going to like Gray, and then me, I'm the support and the little manipulator in the back, more a nuisance than an actual fighter. But you'll be telling the story for my part, as I had to witness everything. So, as we were in the grove, we met the Archdruid of this grove, and he was having some trouble with his beasts going haywire. And who best to send than some random people he met on the way? Being us 5. We happily accepted because, quite honestly, it was the only way out of the grove, as the Archdruid has full control of the trees and everything. Not to mention, he was rewarding us pretty well. So we happily accepted the quest and started moving into the forest, with the trees quite literally parting in front of us, thanks to the Archdruid's permission. These beasts were war beasts, well-trained, effective in combat. In fact, some siege beasts for castle warfare, if need be. As we were wandering through the forest, however, it seems our little halfling friend got lost along the way or something, because as we couldn't notice through the dire ferns and tall bushes, she just suddenly disappeared as we were making our way through. Unfortunately, we didn't notice until much later. As we, 4 of us at least, kept going through the woods, looking for these war beasts, we came across this small clearing, and Gray's going to cast a major image again, but at 4th level, which means it's not concentration. I did check.
Oh shit. Okay, and what are you creating?
I'm creating the jungle-like area where we met the apes at first, with like the little tree and the dried-up ravine. It's a 20-foot cube, so it kind of fits.
Yeah, absolutely. So go ahead and give me a performance check, please, with advantage.
I'm not going to roll again. That was a nat 20.
All right, you don't need to say any more than that. As you begin to manipulate the stage in front of you, and the trees begin to grow up and out of the ground, you, as yourself, Gray, literally just vanishing from sight at this point, with the, excuse me, the character images still there. You hear audible, and a series of claps as it happens. You may continue.
We've been traveling for quite some while at this time, and it was strangely quiet throughout the forest, besides, the typical animal noises, birds and such, as you'd expect from a druid grove. However, at this point, as we look across this tree, which seemed to be one of the only ways across the ravine, we look around a little bit to see if there's any other path, and luckily, me and our gnome over there, with our keen eyesight and hearing, managed to see, well, not one, not two. Okay, here we go. Sorry, I just had to scroll down on my notes because I'm slightly reading. We saw not one, not two, and he's gonna like minor illusion the like apes as he goes in like the positions they were.
Okay.
These are only
Shitloads of them.
Yeah. Not one, not two, 3, no, 5, more, 8, no, my friends, there were 10 of these apes, all of them about almost as tall as I am.
You hear audible gasps from the crowd.
And Gray is kind of like, the beating has definitely started like reaching kind of a lot faster with just his hand drum for now. Luckily for us, and honestly, they were twice as wide as I am, but then again, I'm size that. So it's not difficult to do, but they could look an orc in the face and be basically just the same. However, these aren't normal apes. These are druid battle beasts. Some of the animals we were sent looking for. Luckily, we managed to spot them before they spotted us. At least that's what we thought. And Gray's gonna slowly start moving over to his war drum. As me and him were alerting the others to our findings, the apes themselves started jumping up and down, howling and banging on their chests. Next, and then the like drumming's gonna completely cut out just for a solid second, and as they hop, beat and make more loud sounds, both left, right, and front, and all around us. And then he's gonna completely stop for a solid second of just silence. Then he's gonna start banging on his war drum, and he's gonna say, "They leap from the trees. 2 from the right, 3 from our left, and 4 straight in front of us across the log, getting ready to charge across the dead tree to reach us." Luckily, we were prepared for a fight, and the first one to react was none other than the amazing goblin. Our amazing goblin berserker over there. Yeah, jumps straight, puts her shield up, grabs her Morningstar, and rushes straight onto the log to meet these 4 apes charging across. Next up was myself, who, slamming on my drum, doom, 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 cast wires on these, casting a spell on these apes to slow them and hinder any movements, controlling them like a puppet master. And his figure does have like some strings around his hand, but they don't actually connect the apes because the minor image is really shitty. Illusion. And the drumming on his drum starts getting like faster and faster as the battle commences. Our dwarf goes, and as the apes themselves this time charge, trying to hit Ree once, twice, and 3 times, some even tossing rocks at the rest of us. However, we barely managed to dodge them. The rocks were as big as the tables, the very tables we're sitting on. However, the dwarf, as 3 apes surround Ree, the dwarf charges head forth, along with casting a spell with Moradin's faith. As swarms of small bearded dwarves, long bearded dwarves, with large shields and weapons, start swarming around him, Ree and 2 of these apes. It was then that, badly, like, battering them in Moradin's light, it was then that Doc saw an ape that hadn't yet moved in the trees to our right, threw a dagger with pinpoint precision felling the beast in a single blow, dropping it from the tree.
And you hear from the crowd, "Oh!"
Then moving forward a little bit, taking a shot with her crossbow as well. Sadly, this beast was a bit more alert. It still hit, but it didn't fell it. Next, sadly, our ranger was nowhere to be seen at this moment, as the Dire Ferns proved to be too mighty of a foe. And you wait for your time, Dad. It's gonna get it.
You hear a laugh from the audience.
Yeah. And then one of the apes. It's one of the apes this time. Once again, acting, trying to slam into our goblin. However, she proves once again just too tough. On the left, though, however, two apes were trying to slowly make their way over to me, and I moved closer to the goblin, with the goblin smacking once again these two apes by her side, easily, badly injured, hitting them and badly injured. It's what I'd like to say, but however, these are war beasts, and they have their own magic, their own druidic powers. As Ree tries and hits one of them, it turns semi-shadowy, and the blow just seems to phase through. The second ape, however, tried this, and simply got a morning star straight to his face, stunning the beast. Next up, the dwarf moved slowly forward, battering more of these apes with its holy magic. One of them falls down, but more are arriving from the back. I appreciate it. Doc once again shooting, felling a beast. Ree hitting hard and swinging another. Me making sure that none of them managed to slowing down any attacks these could get. And them being beasts themselves, not understanding that the light of Moradin hurts them via their dwarf's power, kept rushing blindly into the light. And honestly, it just pummeled them again and again. These swarms of dwarves just punching, like crashing into them with shields, felling two of them on his own with that single spell. Things were starting to look really well, and the drumming's gonna semi-slow down again on the war drum. Things were turning out great, and our morale was on the raise. The apes, seeing many of them still coming and ready to fight, but they've definitely seen like 4 or 5 of their brothers lay dead by our hands. As we get ready for our next moves, and Gray's gonna immediately stop. He's going to not stop his drumming, but he's gonna at this point just slow down to doom, and the illusion of the ground itself is gonna start shaking with every doom he makes.
And as that happens, you, Gray, you glance out into the audience and you realize that there are at least 3/4 of a dozen shadowy vortices that are currently spinning in this room that only you seem to have eyes on. You feel emboldened.
And then there's going to be another. We heard it once. We thought it must just be the wind, or something must just. It's probably nothing, or maybe a few more of these apes, but we could handle them. Then another. We knew something wasn't right, and then he's gonna raise his hand even higher, and then like from the trees. A giant ape is gonna appear through the illusion. Through like some of the trees in the clearing.
As it does so, make a performance check for me.
Okay, I'm gonna use the advantage that you gave me for the first part.
Yep.
Smart bard.
It's
Okay.
the same number. What the-
So I will talk about this after we're done, but because of the equation that I have built for how this entire scene was supposed to go down, and, and the successes you've had so far, 13 was your DC. So you succeeded. So you hear the audience go,
And at this point, it's the drumming's gonna pick up again, kind of sound. Well, not fast just yet, but like semi like. Yes. Doom, 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 doom. As the ape just moves forward every time. As we saw this, I won't lie and say, I know that my heart dropped a bit. This ape, easily the size of this very building. Its fist was as big as, well, almost as big as me. Definitely equally as big as all the other apes alone. Came barreling straight through, with the apes howling and churning even more. It looked at us, and then, just as it saw us and the children, as most of us were standing on the log at this point, because all the characters would have moved, as he said, and then I think everyone except, yeah, all of us were like on the log itself. Aurora was standing, not Aurora, Doc was standing on this little branch on the side. Bofer is semi behind, Gray's like in between Bofer and me. Bofer's like semi at the like point, and then Ree's more towards the middle. And it's gonna go. The ape looks at us, takes one step, two, and then he's gonna pause the drumming again, and then the ape itself is gonna jump, leaps onto the wooden platform itself, and then there's like kind of like a dubstep drop, if you know what I mean. Just drumming's gonna completely just go. Just gonna go, and the ape will like hit the tree and trunk, and then if it only landed on the tree, it would have been easy. But sadly for us, the old tree that's been standing there, easily longer than than about this entire building and more, crashed through, sending all of us falling through, and the others would obviously follow, sending all of us spiraling to the ground. I myself, as you can see very clearly, as he kind of like lifts his arms up to show how dainty he is. Very fragile, and at the time even more so than now. So this, it was badly injured. Not down, but it definitely hurt a lot. It, as well as, hell, it even hurt Ree, who has been battered once or twice by these apes, but very rarely. And Bofer and Doc as well. Doc herself looking badly wounded at the time. Things with the single move this ape made, it turned incredibly bad. However, it wasn't finished just there. It swung left towards Doc, badly, even further wounding her. And next towards Ree. And it hits into her shield, also knocking her back and still injuring her.
Jesus.
But the apes themselves advanced towards us, as things were looking grim, but terribly grim. From the forest, not one, but two arrows spearing through the sky, hitting this giant ape in the side once, twice, badly wounding it. As it roars, we all look to where the arrows came from, and there, standing through like a really like exaggerated beam of sunlight on the field itself, kind of shines on like a
Boom! Spotlight.
standing there, as if sent by Moradin himself. Answered the prayers of our dwarf and shot more and more arrows into this orb, wounding it gravely. Each shot with pinpoint accuracy and precision. We continued to fight off these apes, myself trying to move out of the way and maneuver as best I can, as well as hindering and providing aid and movement for my allies. Managed to get hit one more time by this by this ape. By one of the smaller apes, while it saw the opportunity. Doc herself jumps in between two apes, plunging a dagger into one, and then a short sword into another. felling these two beasts, Ree and Aurora turn their focus towards the giant ape, deeply start battering against it while it fights back. One's giant swing barely misses Ree, and Aurora staying out of range. Bofer, the dwarf, swings once again at one of the apes to the side, with his spell now being broken after the fall. It's difficult to keep after the fall breaking his concentration. Sorry, I'm just
And just so you know,
Xavier.
yeah, right. It's because I got a lot of talking to do, and I'm coughing my ass off here. We will just, you know, is I was gonna say, as soon as this ape fight is over, because I know you are doing the whole fucking spiel. As soon as this ape fight is over, yeah, we will call it after this fight.
The performance was just gonna be this ape fight.
Oh, is that it? Okay.
Deeply bashing it. However, this one killing this one of the last two apes remaining. However, this last ape saw its sights and needed to, and was ready for blood. I, however, attempting to stay by Ree's side to aid her. This ape was caught unaware as the ape itself charged towards me, and well, it almost killed me. As I was falling, however, I saw two more arrows fly from Aurora and straight past Ree as she charges in almost at the same speed as the very arrows themselves. Arrow hits the ape, it roars, and then another one hits it in the shoulder as it lowers its head. Ree, with a terrible swing and a loud crack, slapped the ape in its jaw, sending its head reeling back as it falls down, and the light and my eyes fade and I fall closed. It's kind of this slow, kind of dramatic drumming at this point.
Give me a performance check.
Okay, we'll do.
So as the drumming begins to fade, I'm assuming you're kind of like quote unquote fading into black, right? At this point.
Yeah.
So as that happens, everything in the room grows quiet. Do you say anything else, or do you end that performance there?
Yeah, there's still a bit more.
Okay.
But it's not going to be. Luckily, thanks to my friends here and Doc over there, with her great medical skills, and Dwarf with his healing, and Bofer with his healing capabilities, blessed by Moradine, managed to bring us all back, and our quest was succeeded. Now, what is a quest without rewards? Now, you might be wondering, what did we get from this battle besides payment from the ape? And he's going to start walking towards, the scene itself is going to disappear. And he's going to start walking towards the table itself. Well, obviously a trophy was needed from our two victors. And he's going to point towards Ree and Aurora, specifically. The legends that felled the giant ape. And he's going to dramatically kind of toss the tabard away from the tooth and go, two teeth from the two molars from the back, from the mouth of the very ape itself. One here on stage. And he's gonna like point towards it.
And you hear audible gasps and screeches from the room. Ah!
Now you're probably thinking, Mr. Gray, you said two. Yes, and the other, and he's gonna point to Ree and kind of like signal for her to come on stage.
Ree will, scream and hop up on stage, waving the maul like a lunatic.
Yeah. The other made into a magnificent hammer itself. Ree, if you don't mind holding it up for everyone to see.
And she does.
Yeah. By your very own runesmith, molded into this massive weapon. But
So the crowd goes fucking berserk at this point, especially seeing the goblin rune on there. I mean, the crowd as a whole has fucking lost it. They are screaming and yelling. 2 or 3 tables have been flipped over completely. People are pounding ale and throwing their glasses at the wall while pointing at you and screaming in Dwarven.
But I bet you're tired of me talking by now. So Ree, why don't you show him, and he's going to cast a major illusion again. But this time it's just going to be one creature. He's gonna drop because he already dropped the previous one,
Yep.
and this time it's just gonna be one creature in front of like Ree.
Could I just do a wisdom save just to like see if I don't get too pumped up by the crowd?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Fuck yeah. Are you kidding me right now? Absolutely. Let's see where your bravado's level is at. Oh no. These motherfuckers got you entranced as the screaming. These they're throwing their mugs at the wall, empty, mind you, and flipping fucking tables. And you're like, oh, buddy boy.
She's in it. She's feeling it.
It's gonna be one of these apes, like actual size.
Now, with that being said, you knew that he was gonna that Gray was gonna create a shark in front of you, and all of a sudden, Gray disappears and a real live fucking ape appears in front of you, full-bodied, full-furred, smell and everything, right fucking in front of you, and these people are screeching at you. What do you do, Ree?
Okay, so I guess before Ree goes, my Gray's intent here is to have her smack one, make it look like it actually goes down, and then like have another one appear like not behind, but like to the side of her.
All right, Ree, how do you react?
She's all pumped up by the crowd, so she goes into a rage.
Oh, there's the rage, and you see this fucking ape. It like Gray told you, I'm gonna summon Jvart. I'm gonna summon these goofy little 2D fucks, and that's what you're gonna fight. And all of a sudden, there's a real ape.
Right?
It is one. I mean, it is, for all intents and purposes, to Ree, it is absolutely a giant ape in front of you, and you hear one behind you.
Yeah, she whacks at the first ape, just goes wildly overhand.
Oh God. Okay, go ahead and give me an attack roll.
Okay.
The ape definitely kind of roars in your face.
You feel it too. The spittle, the hot breath.
I don't know if it's working. It's kind of jiggling on D&D. There it goes.
There we go. Yep, no problem. You smack the fuck out of this thing, and it reacts to your maul. It's not like this Vart who just disappeared in shadow. It reacts. The whole thing, brains and blood and guts and bones from the major illusion, all over the stage. But because of your training, you manage to hold back just enough to not destroy the stage. You turn around, and suddenly in your face, there is another ape. Go ahead and give me another attack roll.
Yeah, this is going to be just a sideways kind of carrying the momentum of her spinning around. Oh, yeah.
So it's an illusion, so the DC is actually only 8 to hit it, because it's kind of like the equivalent of an ogre. So a 9 actually hits it. Not by fucking much, but it hits it. And as you hit it, Gray grabs onto the illusion, is like, oh yeah, that's right, it's supposed to break down right now, and throws it off to the side as brains and bloods and guts and fur just spatter out onto the audience before disappearing into shadow. Gray, what do you do?
Well, after the two, he's gonna go. He's gonna kind of pat Ree on the back and go, "Thank you, Ree. Thank you for
Now,
them."
Ree, what do you do in your rage?
Oh, I mean, she knows friend from foe even when she's
Yes,
so she
yep.
just like raises up the maul and just screams.
And the crowd goes berserk. Now you've got at least a half dozen tables that have been flipped and thrown across this fucking room. Ale permeates the room as a whole. The humidity level in here has increased to about a tenfold. And Gray, it is on you.
Okay, I think at that point he's gonna go, "Thank you for listening to my story, but let's not. I'd like to request an applause for not just me, but also for." And he's gonna point to Doc, Aurora, and Ree. Sadly, our dwarf isn't with us as of this moment, but I'd like an applause for them as well.
And the crowd goes fucking
wild. And as they do so, literally the dozens and dozens, upwards of literally over 100, there's at minimum 100 people in here, if not upwards of 150, begin to rush the stage and are throwing, literally hurling fistfuls of coin, jewels, gems, and objects at you. We are going to stop here for tonight because it is 10:15. We will pick back up next week for session number 51, where we will do the collection of tips and the completion of the story that Gray has told. Lucy, I just want to say thank you for your absolute fucking dedication to the details of this story. This was this was the best thing for a DM to just sit back and go, let my player tell me what happened. That is fucking perfection. A little bit of salt on that, and we done. So
I did make some turnover here and there, but
doesn't matter. You know what? They didn't know any difference. I didn't know any difference. I don't think anybody else knew any difference.
I couldn't remember. Yeah.
Fuck no, not me either. But it was beautifully said, beautifully spoken. Thank you for your dedication. And we will end here. But there is, I have 3 notes highlighted in yellow on my weekly notes that need to be brought back up immediately when we start. And that is Gray succeeds, Gray's cut, and Gray's tips. So we're gonna have to throw some dice when we come back next week. Hopefully you can earn back. Hopefully you can earn back Gray's fuck up.
I do have some gems on me that I haven't sold. So.
Oh, I know. Gray is a man of many secrets, and the only man in this party.
I'm just glad they didn't find the poison I was holding on.
Actually, you should check your inventory.
I should check my inventory.
And we'll go ahead and leave it at that. Everybody have a fantastic week. If you have not gotten sick with anything crazy yet, please do not get sick. Next Saturday, excuse me, as I'm coughing here, next Saturday we've got our 8-hour D&D game, and these assholes they ended their last session in the midst of a room filling with acid from 3 pipes. So,
no.
Yeah.
And our monk is not in the room.
Bad business. It was all sorts of bad business.
Just a last quick thing for me.
Yes.
I have about 11 days of school left. Maybe one more. But I have like 5 assignments due these 11 days, so I'm probably not going to be as active on Twitch.
So that's
It
okay, we
is
understand.
fine if you can't do it loose. Look, man, we get it. You're in university now. We understand that 100%. If you're here, you're here. If you're not, you're not. That's all there is to it. We're going to be chugging along as much as we can, and yeah, if we see you, we do. If we don't, we don't. We're still going to tag you in Discord and DACA your ass until you paint those minis.
Fair enough.
All right, guys, thanks so much for being in tonight. We are going to raid Arceus, I believe. Yep, we're going to raid Arc.
All right. Good night, everybody.
All right, see you later. Everybody have a great week.
You too.
Have a great week.
All right, y'all, we're raiding Arc. /raid. ARCHEROS. All right, we're raiding Arceus. Thank you, everybody, for being here tonight. It was a wonderful stream. We finally got to hear the tale of Gray. I promised it was going to happen tonight. I really didn't think it was going to, since Gray got himself thrown in fucking jail. But we talked our way out of it. So we will see you all next week for the wrap up, and then hopefully, if these guys don't move out of Underhill next week, then hopefully we will be planning on moving on to a new setting and see what happens after that. Take care. Thank you so much. We'll see you all during this week, and I look forward to everybody else's streams. Saru, Rose, Torin, everybody, Red, everyone who's been here. We'll see you soon. All right, thanks, guys. Bye-bye.